bull market. I know I am. I'm just sending this link to this live stream to everybody. Let me just send this out to everybody. One moment, y'all. Send this stream out to your friends, your family, your loved ones. Send it out to people you hate. Send it to everybody. Let's get some viewers. Got some good clickbait in the title. Juicy. Hate doing that crap, but maybe the algorithm will shine upon us. Send this somewhere else. There we go. And then we'll give it the old retweet. I'll start answering your guys' questions in a minute. Sooner even. Ooh, I didn't tweet it yet. Let's give it a tweet. All right, it has been well shilled everywhere. So guys, how's it going? Let's see if YouTube gave me a bearable title to my video, or if it gave me a garbage title. If it gave me an old, nope, it gave me the accurate title. It's a miracle, a miracle. Very happy. Let's check out your questions here, everybody. I finally spent some money. Got a new watch. It's not a new watch. I don't like getting bad deals. It's an old watch. Want to see my new watch? New old watch? Let's take a look here. Bitcoin to zero, lol. Yeah, it's unlikely. I don't think it's going to zero. I mean, the funny thing is, like, nothing can go to zero because the exchanges won't let you place limit orders at zero, and therefore your limit orders at zero can't get filled because you can't make limit orders at zero. But yeah, can make them at like a penny or even lower, depending. So it can go as close to zero. Like we have seen flash crashes on different exchanges before. Like you'll see like crap coins that get hacked and then they just inflate the supply infinitely and dump them infinitely down to there's nothing left on the bid side. It's pretty funny when you see those inflation bugs. Someone says, I guess it's time to short. No, do not short crypto. You will lose all your money. Don't do it. Think about how many times you lost your entire stack shorting from 4,000 to 60,000. You lost your whole stack at 8, and then you lost your whole stack again at 16, and then you lost your whole stack again at 32, and then you probably lost your whole stack at 60. So you lost all your money over and over and over again. Something that can't happen to an unleveraged long or a spot holder. They can't get liquidated. So if you hold spot, you can't get liquidated. You still have your coins. So being long beats being short historically across like everything, which is why there's no shorts left. Smash the likes. Thanks, Maddie. Good idea. It's a good idea. Someone needs some sleep? Yeah. That would be nice. Good point. Someone needs to talk about, bro, can you talk about encapsulated stakes and the benefits? Yes, I can, and I will. I'm just reading all your guys' questions here. Rolex, someone says. Yeah, I got a Rolex. Now I have 2 Rolexes. Yay. Yeah, once every 20 years I buy one. What do we got here? How am I doing? I'm doing good. Working really hard. I'll tell you guys what I've been working on. Dan Emmons, nice to see you in chat, bro. Good to see you, Richard. I started reading the documentation of Solidity. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's the most popular smart contract language. It is garbage. It is horrible, terrible trash. However, it is what represents the majority of smart contract value in the universe. So it's probably worth knowing. Richard, are you planning on forking ETH? Yes. I'm going to fork ETH. So I'll tell you a little bit about it. Blink if this is live. There you go. Enjoy. Why would I why would I, people are saying this is pre-recorded. Why? Why wouldn't I just do it live? I mean, sometimes I'll pre-record like an interview so that you can have 4K, but so for instance, you guys don't have 4K right now. Why? Because stupid Restream only supports 1080p. So you're only getting 1080p. But I got a 4K camera and a 4K capture card and the best production value you can find, but I'm not streaming at 4K. So if you guys want to browse around and find out if Restream wants to re-encode my 4K and stream it to YouTube at 4K, but then downplay it for everybody else, I'm more than happy to upgrade my account to do that. But in my research, I wasn't able to find those options on Restream, and therefore I'm not doing it. It was the cost of money. I would pay them and I would shoot 4K to YouTube, which I can't do live while restreaming. So you guys want to figure that out? I'd be more than happy to show 4K live. So you can tell if I was pre-recording this, it would be in 4K. But because it's live, it's only 1080, which sucks. I mean, it's not that bad, but best hair in crypto, really? It'd be better if I'd not been up for a long time. Please talk about HEX in a bear market. Well, we had a bear market for a while, didn't we? Like we had the March dump from COVID, HEX did great. What's my take on Raven? They had a inflation bug where a hacker just minted an extra 10% of the supply and dumped it on the market. Lol. Its claim to fame is to try and do ticker symbols. Oh, we already have that. It's on Ethereum and it works way better and interoperates with everything else. So no one needs ticker symbols on a minority chain that no one uses for anything. So it's, I want to be nice to the founder and all, but Ethereum does its core value proposition vastly superior and hasn't had a inflation bug dumped on the market. So pretty obvious which way you should go. What would we mine if we forked ETH? I'll give you some ideas. Am I caught up yet with everybody's questions? Almost. I'm going. What did I study at school? I don't know. I did the same stuff. I mean, I went to like an amazing school. You can watch one of my other videos about that, or you can Google MEGSSS, Math Education for Gifted Secondary School Students, and go find their curriculum. So Google Megas curriculum and have your mind blown. And that's what I learned in middle school. Logic, modus ponens, modus tollens, syllogistic inference, scheme programming, set theory. Insane. that was sixth grade insanity. I look at the curriculum now and I'm like, I used to know all this stuff. Wow. I might have forgotten some of these things. So yeah, I got really lucky. I went to an amazing school, like absolutely amazing. My HEX t-shirt looks even more machine washed than yours. This is just a gray shirt, dude. I figured I'd mix it up. Like I hate gray because it makes my tits bigger and they're big enough already. But I figure you guys see me in the black all the time, so throw the gray in there. Richard, I've made 100,000 GBP, which is British pounds, on crypto. What would you do? Carry on or invest in something new? I have 500,000 HEX. I don't think 500,000 HEX is very many HEX at all, unless you mean like $500,000 of HEX, which is like better. But if you mean just 500,000 HEX, I mean, what is that, like 50 grand? I don't know. I like HEX. I like HEX a lot. I'm not an investment advisor. I don't have a crystal ball. Look, so Can Ethereum price go up this year more? Yep. Can Bitcoin price go up more this year? Yep. Could the bear market start right now? Yep. Okay, how are you going to know the difference? Well, how'd you know the difference last time? Well, people were buying pictures of kitties, crypto kitties, for like 100 grand. We have that now. And people were buying every single ICO and shitcoin token imaginable, every ticker symbol they could. We have that now. But we also have other things we didn't have then. So if you're looking for topping signals, the $1 million JPEGs, disgusting topping signal. The proliferation of anybody buying any shitcoin token they could dream of, rug pulls, you name it, disgusting. So those are like, so the rug pulls and random ticker symbols you see today are like the ICOs of late 2017. The buying stupid JPEGs for lots of money today is like the buying stupid JPEGs for lots of money of 2017. Those are topping signals. The fact that you already got in, Elon, you already got in 2 of the Shark Tank guys, they're in. They're fully allocated. I don't think they're buying more. I think they got their allocation. That means that's bearish. So when someone has already bought, it's bearish. When they haven't bought yet but will, that's bullish. So they've already moved the price up as much as they're likely to move it. Just guessing. So then, I mean, even an Israeli retirement fund, or like an Israeli pension fund, bought like 100 million worth, I think 5 days ago. So they're in. The Wall Street money is here. Grayscale Trust owns 3% of all Bitcoin. Michael Saylor's stuff owns, maybe almost 1% of Bitcoin. They're here, right? So Wall Street's here. So if Wall Street keeps buying and we keep getting like really low amplitude dips, we haven't even seen a 30% dip on the run from 3,800 to 62,000, and futures are at 70,000. You could keep doing that. It could just keep getting silly. If the Fed wants to keep printing trillions of dollars and literally doing helicopter money, then we can just keep going up and just keep doing absurdity, even through the JPEG purchases, even through the proliferation of retarded ideas. Like, you can still just keep going up, or you could just dump, right? So you have to look at this from like a Pareto efficiency. The last amazing bull run went from like 233 or 250 or 266. I can't remember. I think it was 266. Depends on what exchange you're on. So the bottom of the previous bear market was 266, and we ran up to 20,000. Well, that's like a 15x. So the previous top, well, it's a 15. Sorry, that measurement's wrong. The previous top was 1,300, and then we did a 15x to 20K. So we, previous top to new top was a 15x. So our previous top was like a 20K. So like, what's a 15x times 20K? It's, I think, 300K. So, could you see, if you mirrored the performance of 2017 bull run at a 300K top? Sure, you could, but it's going to break the regression charts, which show your highs getting lower and having longer market cycles and having more economic mass that you have to push up. So you wouldn't rationally expect to get a 300K top. Okay, and we're at 62K now, which means you're like dream fantasy, ignore the regression charts, ignore the heavier weight of a larger market. Like, the Bitcoin market sucked up Elon Musk like $1.5 billion buy like nothing. You hear Michael Saylor tweeting every time he mouses over the buy button. He's like, hey, I bought $1 billion. Hey, I bought 500 million. Hey, I bought like $20 worth. He's like, $20, but we're still buying it. $20 buys. You're like, hey man, you can't brag about like a $10 million buy. You just can't. $10 million ain't shit. I mean, somebody just staked today $15 million of HEX. I'm not making a fucking press release, right? Press release, $15 million of HEX staked today. That's just one guy. Like, one guy staked 15 million today. So, well, I mean, he staked $1 billion and the price was like maybe 1.1. So maybe he staked 11 million in that one stake. So like, you can't be bragging about $10 million buys in Bitcoin. It just doesn't make any sense. This is nonsensical. The price does not care at all about a $10 million buy or sell in the Bitcoin market. It does not care at all. $1 trillion market, like, come on. So could we keep running up? Yes. Could we just dump from here? Yes. In Bitcoin and Ethereum. Now, which is more likely? So I'll give you different metrics because all anyone cares about is price. So here we are. I mean, it's in the headline, right? It's in the title. If you use a metric that I'm pulling out of my ass, which is previous run up of old all-time high to new all-time high, 1,300 to 20,000, 15x. You've got your 20K times 15x is 300K, but you reduce that because heavier market mass, elongated market cycles, regression chart showing it kind of harder and harder to make fast new all-time highs. So maybe you stick it like a 150. So instead of getting a 300, maybe you get a 150. Okay. So at a 150, you're up a 3x from here. Not even. I mean, actually, if you figure we're at 61, 150 over 61 is a 2.4x, 2.45. We'll call it 2.5. So like, you could say your maximum reasonable upside is like a 2.5x from here. Now, how much risk do you want to take to get a 2.5x? In crypto, 2.5x, it's not very good, really. You know, Dogecoin just did a 30x. You know, Hex from its dip for big payday is up like a 6x or something like that. Like a 2x, it ain't that grand in crypto. So reasonable profit taking and scaling out at these levels and higher seems very reasonable to me in a Bitcoin or Ethereum position, and getting into something that weathers bear markets well, like a stable coin or, you know, Hex, I think has shown strength. You know, like every time I look at the nomics.com to see how the different coins are doing, you know, I see everything else in red, and Hex will be up and maybe one or two other random coins. But Hex like shows strength when other coins are showing weakness, which I think is really cool. Particularly if if the top is really only a 2.4x from here, max, in like the dream fantasy world, like, you know, it seems like a fine spot to take profit. Now, let me give you some bull cases. Grayscale buys Bitcoin and they never sell it. It's pretty damn bullish. There's no right of redemption. If you buy Grayscale BTC, you can't turn it into real BTC and sell it. It's like a side bet game. So that's bullish. Michael Saylor, since he's just like basically getting like a free profit option, like people give him money, his stock goes up more than the amount of money it costs to buy the Bitcoin kind of play. He doesn't really have to sell. And I don't think there's any rights of redemption for his deal either. And therefore, anyone that put money into Saylor stuff to buy Bitcoin or into Grayscale to buy Bitcoin, none of those, like maybe total 3.5% of the Bitcoin supply total, none of that has to sell. And in my opinion, is unlikely to sell. That's very bullish. And I think you've seen the strongest hands possible. You know, you can look at these addresses on chain. They acquire Bitcoin and they never, ever have sold any. They just acquire more. That's really bullish. That's nice, you know. And we, you know, I'm not sure if we had as much of that back in the end of 2017. Now, there's some other interesting dynamics here. Most of the press that I'm seeing recently isn't Bitcoin press. It's this NFT garbage press. And that just benefits Ethereum, basically. It doesn't benefit Bitcoin. Bitcoin ain't got no NFTs. That's all on Ethereum. So, but then you also have this, like if someone takes $20 million, buys Bitcoin, and then sells their Bitcoin for Ethereum, they never took out real money. It's still in the system. So it helps this reflexivity of all the prices going up. So the guy took 50 million USD, he bought Bitcoin, he took his 50 million of Bitcoin and bought Ethereum. So the Bitcoin price went down a little bit, but the Ethereum price went up. But everything's still up versus the dollar because he didn't really take out dollars, right? So it's just this reflexive, you know, Bitcoin goes up 1x and then ETH goes up twice what it did. And then alts go up 3x what it did, right? And then you get this convexivity where the light things lift more and then the big things lift a little bit less. And then Bitcoin which has the majority of the new USD really going into it, moves the least of all. And then that's wonderful during the bull market, right? So boop, boop, boop. But then on the way down, it collapses. And then like, you know, shitty coins and NFTs will go near zero. And then alts that have traction, like even Ethereum, which is a good project, it dropped 95% in the last bear market. 95%. That means if you put in $100, you had $5 left at the bottom of the bear. Man, that's a pretty steep drop, 100 to 5, you know? And then Bitcoin, if you'd put in 100, you had 15 left because it did an 85% drop. So, you know, having 15 left on 100 sucks, and having 5 left on 100 sucks. So this reflexivity that you see on the way up in a bull run, you'll see collapse on the way down. And there's other triggers, like maybe this India ban matters, probably doesn't. You know, the whole ban unban cycle China didn't seem to really matter in the end. And now India is doing their ban unban cycle crap, and I don't think it will really matter in the end. You know, everything that China has banned has done amazingly well. What's banned in China? YouTube, Google, Facebook. You're like, okay, so the wildly profitable things are banned in China. It still seems to be just fine to invest in those wildly profitable things. So we've got conflicting signals here. So we've got topping signals from ICO similar things, JPEG things. You know, Michael Saylor's buys just keep getting smaller and smaller to the point where they're comedic. Well, why aren't they getting bigger? Why are they getting smaller? And then you've got bullish things such as Grayscale never has to sell, Saylor never has to sell. I don't think Tesla is going to buy 1.5B and then dump it, right? Like I think he's going to be holding on to that for a while. I don't think that their treasury is just going to dump it. And then you've got great macro environment where the government's just printing money like a joke. They're just like trillions, print it. If you look at the FRED, FRED, just Google M2 FRED, and you'll see the chart of circulating money supply is just a vertical line right now. It's a vertical line. Something like 2/3 of all the dollars that exist in the world currently were printed this year. That money's got to go somewhere. It's got to land somewhere. Where is it going to land? It's going to land in assets like real estate, which is at new all-time highs, stocks, which are new all-time highs, gold for a little bit, but it took a dump. Like it did new all-time highs for a minute, but then it dumped. I think Bitcoin's eating up a lot of the interest that people were going to put into gold. Gold's just historically garbage. You're still down 10% from 10 years ago. You held it for 10 years, you're still worse off than the dollar. You would have been better off holding the thing they're printing like a joke. The monopoly money that's the US dollar that buys less houses than ever, less stocks than ever, less Rolexes than ever, right? It does better than gold. You can actually buy more gold after holding it 10 years with just your dollars. You could buy more gold now than you could have 10 years ago. So it's down versus the dollar after 10 years. Rolexes aren't, houses aren't, stocks aren't, Bitcoin isn't. So in this environment, you know, you can't tell how much longer the bull run goes. You could see a 2 or 3x in Ethereum. You could see a 2 or 3x in Bitcoin, right? You could see $180,000 Bitcoin. You could, but you could also just go revisit 6K, go revisit 7K. Like, so let's say we did a macro, let's say we did a fractal, which is just like a repeating history of an 85% drop from like 62K. Then you're at 9,300. So maybe try and front run it a little bit because all these strong hands bid 10K, you know, nice round number, 10-1, 10-2, whatever. Yeah, you could see Bitcoin back at 10K. Check it if Gox coins come out. Give people 140,000 Bitcoin at, let's call it what, 58? Where's Bitcoin now? 58? Let's take a look. 54? Let's take a look. Yeah, so Bitcoin yesterday, well, from the local peak, I'm measuring the dip of Bitcoin on Stamp that doesn't have margin trading, so it's a little bit less volatile chart. So you're not dealing with liquidation wicks. So it's like a little bit cleaner chart to chart Stamp. We're down 14% in 3 days. Whatever, it's normal. I mean, look, to give you a reference of like how weak that dip is, we were just down 26% in 7 days. Only, get a measurement here, 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks ago was the bottom of a 27% dip. I mean, see, if you want to look at this technically, right? Like we broke a new all-time high and then very quickly had another big dip. I mean, these other previous all-time high breaks, let's take a look at this stuff. I mean, our previous all-time high break when we broke 42, we ran up with no serious dips 40%. So when we broke our previous all-time high at 42, you know, we ran up 40%. But now we break our new all-time high at 58 and we only run up 6% and then do a 14% dump. It's not as strong or as bullish when you could just buy a new all-time high and not get liquidated, right? So those guys that bought 42, they never got liquidated. The price never went back down there. So the price broke 42, went up 40% to 58, had a dip back down to 43. So none of those guys that bought a 42 new all-time high breakout got liquidated, because if they put their stop loss, as many people would tend to do, you know, below the retest. So if you break new all-time high and then you retest it, you don't really want to dip back below it. You know, that's the idea behind a retest. So those guys didn't get liquidated, right? Like they're fine. They got their 40% run up. But these guys that bought the newest local all-time high at 58, those guys are now sitting 7% below that, and it's already dipped like 8%. So could we keep running up? Sure. Did the breakout traders that bought the new all-time high probably get liquidated? Probably, you know, which is why trading sucks and almost everyone loses all their money. So don't do it. I don't even know why I'm talking technical analysis with you guys when like you shouldn't trade. You'll lose all your money. So don't do it. People love it. They like to talk about price. So I'm going to talk about it. Yeah, I mean, traditionally I would have liked to have seen more upwards movement on that new all-time high breakout, because, you know, you did a big dip already. You did a 27% dip. You shook out enough weekends. So if you are going to break to a new all-time high, those guys aren't going to sell. They already sold lower. You just had a dip. So you know, I don't see a reason for a dip this large, this quick. You know, like in a parabola, you want to see new all-time highs quicker and higher. You want to see more movement and sooner upwards. And when I see things like stalling out and like, they call it swing pattern failure, SPF. So like, I'm not partial to swing pattern failures. I don't really like them. I want the predictions to come true, and if they don't come true, like, you got to think about why they didn't. What everyone does is they just latch on to whatever the news of the day is. So people say it's India. Oh, Bitcoin dipped. What news is there? Oh, India. Okay. And then if it wasn't India, they'd be like, oh, the Christina Lagarde said something bad about it at the IMF or whatever, right? And if it wasn't that, they'd be like, oh, it's the SEC. Like the news people just want to publish something that they can get clicks on. And so they just take recent price move and recent news and then commingle them as though there was causation. And then that's their news article they can get clicks with. So yeah, I mean, this market is different than 2017, but we are seeing a lot of the same stuff. So good luck figuring which one matters more. Is Michael Saylor and Grayscale and Elon Musk never having to sell enough? But what if like guys there's a lot of guys that bought in 2017 and never sold too. And we're just not counting those guys, you know, like we can find wallets that accumulated them that just didn't sell. They just held. So really hard to say, hard to have a crystal ball. If I had asked you a year ago, do you think we could run up from 3,800 to 60K with no 30% dips? The answer would have been no. And everyone would have told you no, because Bitcoin's never done that before. But we did it. The market's different. But then because the market's different, you're like, well, could we just dump from here and just continuously dump just the same way what we pumped? You're like, I guess, like if it disobeyed the fractal on the way up. But then you're like, well, it only disobeyed the fractal in a bullish sense. It never like overperformed to the downside. There was no dips. Man, you know what? I'm just going to keep building stuff. And then it's all going to work out. Bear, no bear, bull, no bull. You keep building stuff. It works beautiful. So, you know, today, I'll tell you what I've been building. I'll check your comments real quick since I've been like giving a monologue for who knows how long now. It'll be funny if it's like, Richard, your stream dropped, man. You've been talking to nobody for a long time. Boy, that would suck. So how far am I back? About 10 minutes. GBTC has been trading at a discount lately. Not too bullish in my opinion. That's a good point. Yeah. Yes, that is not bullish. Interview Michael Saylor, please. Tell him to message me. t.me/Richard Hart or richard@hex.com. Richard Hart, will you move to another blockchain if ETH2 doesn't go well? Well, man, I don't see any reason to wait for ETH2. So I'll cover that more after I get to some more questions. Oh, I'm missing people's stuff. It's like overwriting it now. YouTube isn't profitable? No. You make $3 per 1,000. My videos get like 15,000 at first and then like maybe 45,000 later. Wow, that's $120. I'm making like $4 an hour. Sucks. Again, my videos aren't 30 hours long, but you get the idea. It's absolutely terrible. It's just like, no, leave your ads off and let your users not get scammed by the trash that advertises on them. That's what I do. Leave my ads off. Thank you, Richard Hart. I don't know what you're thanking me for, but you're welcome. Saylor does owe interest on the first billion he borrowed. Oh, okay. If BTC dumps 85%, he could be forced to sell just to make sure he lost the question. Can't wait to get the Yachtmaster with Hex diamonds. The thing that worries about the Yachtmaster is like you can actually buy it at the retailer. So the stuff that you really want, you can't get at the retailer, right? I mean, I went and tried a Yachtmaster on and I just hate the way it looks. I hate the way the Rolex Yachtmaster looks. And if you think about the way the chronograph works with its like 10-minute deal, I just can't care about any of that. It's just totally useless for real life unless you do yacht races. I like that it's big, you know, like it's like 43 millimeter or whatever, but. Richard, do you still see 33K for end of year? Hey, I pulled that number out of my ass, man. So like, don't take my pull out of the ass. So, I mean, here's what's important. I gave you what I'm thinking about and the data that's going into my calculations. You have the same chart I have. Do your own calculations because, man, I don't have a crystal ball. If you would have asked me a year ago if we would do this run up with no dips at 30%, I would say hell no. So like, I don't have a crystal ball. I have a lot of really good information. I could tell you about the past. I could tell you about the ancient history, the local history, scam wicks, liquidations, margin futures. I could give you all types of data. But in the end, it really comes down to like, okay, some whale wants to dump his position. And then that scares enough for other whales. And then it cascades and we do the bear market. You don't know. Like someone could just come along and murder it. Just like Elon Musk. Could you predict he was just going to market buy 1.5B in a short time frame? I couldn't predict that. No one could, you know? So the one guy that did predict it on Reddit was just trolling. He didn't actually have inside info. So says he, you know, that's what he says. Just scrolling through your guys' questions here. Someone's saying we probably consolidate between 45 and 60 for a few months. Yeah, but have we ever done that before in a parabolic move up? Just like chill and go sideways for a while? We haven't. So could we do it? Yes. Just to ruin all the traders. Every breakout trader gets wrecked. You know, every guy that shorts the dip gets wrecked and just goes sideways for a while. Sure, you could do it, but it's never done it before. And with volatile macro where they're printing money out of thin air and interest rates are climbing up against what the Fed wants, the Fed might lose control of interest rates. Like interest rates could go up whether the Fed wants them to or not. And that will hurt equities deeply, because then I'm not going to explain to you why that hurts equities so bad, but it increases their cost to borrow money, and it creates a competitor with zero risk that provides good yield. That's a more attractive place for people's money than stocks that do have risk and are less valuable, greatly less valuable if they have to pay higher interest rates to get money to do things. So this volatile macro environment with new all-time highs, get to me. That doesn't seem to be like, this seems like a more volatile, we're going to go up a lot or we're going to go down a lot, but betting on sideways doesn't seem like a good bet with the volatility of the world right now. You know, the world is very volatile right now, and I don't think sideways is how I don't think a sideways market is what you get out of a very volatile bunch of inputs. Particularly since there's no history in Bitcoin of sideways. I mean, the only time you could find sideways is like in a bear. You're like, all right, no one's interested. This thing's dead. It's never going back up again. Okay, then we could get some sideways in a bear. But in a parabolic run up, I've never just seen it pause and go sideways for a while and then keep going up again. I've never seen it. It's not in the chart. It's not in any crypto chart that I'm aware of. Actually, the HEX USD chart might be the first instance of it, right? Because it's been at penny for like, I don't know, some months now. But we had the big payday. Like, so the big payday happened on like December or like, and then everyone got in between 30 and 100% more HEX on that day that was staked, and 90% of people were staked. And then that's not on the chart. So the 30 to 90%, the 30 to 100% more coins that people got, you don't see on the chart, but that's real money that they could sell. So it's kind of like, it's hard on the price chart, right? So in effect, when we're at 1% now after we're at a penny after big payday, we're really in people's gains at 1.3 to 2, because that's how much extra coins they got. But that's not reflected in the chart. I'm glad we had one big payday, because you don't want more new coins with reflective, you know, similar to a stock split, you know, price movement to get par value. So yeah, like on the USD, so HEX doesn't really have a sideways price when you account for the big payday, 30 to 100% to 90% of the holders that were staked for that day. But on the chart, it looks like this. So we did this, and then we did this, or for you girls at home, this, and then that, and this is what the chart looks like, you know, maybe like a 25, 30 degree incline up. How long ago did this start? 38 minutes ago. And since your question, I was read 10 minutes late, 48 minutes ago. Scrolling through your questions here. Do you think people shy away from custodial issues and are more willing to invest in BTC proxies? If you just buy stonks and you're like a stonks buyer, then you're just going to do what you're used to doing, which is, what is my broker sell? Ticker symbols. Okay, this ticker symbol, GBTC, went up a lot, so you'll buy that one, right? And then there's some people that just have to. So like, if you have a 401k and you're allowed to allocate your 401k into certain things like ticker symbols, Bitcoin in your personal wallet isn't a ticker symbol you're allowed to buy, but GBTC is. And so there's this regulatory arbitrage for limited partners of asset management funds that aren't authorized to just buy currencies, but they can buy stocks, or they're not authorized to buy commodities, but they can buy stocks. They can oftentimes buy GBTC, but not Bitcoin. So as long as these limited partners have their hands tied, and it's the same with like corporate treasuries. So the treasury at Tesla probably was already authorized. Well, they made an update to their corporate docs or whatever, I believe, that allowed them to buy digital currencies of which their first one was Bitcoin. They may have others that they haven't even disclosed, but in the future they may have others. That's what their disclosure said. So, maybe they had to pass that internal document. It might even been an external document, right? Because they're a publicly traded company, so they have certain public disclosures they must make. I'm not sure that would have fallen under the guise of public disclosures that they had to make, but they did it anyway. So it was either required or not. They did it anyway. If they couldn't have, long story short, there's people that can't buy anything else. They want crypto exposure and they don't have any other way to buy it than a ticker symbol on a brokerage, and that's the only thing they can buy. And that's the reason that you see GBTC premiums. Not just that reason, but people are familiar with it. And for some people, custody is an issue. I mean, my opinion is, if you've never lost control of your dick pics before, and you have dick pics, you could put your private keys with your dick pics, and they get lost together. Or you could split them up and put them in safety deposit boxes. It's probably safer. Do you think a Mt. Gox dump could be saved by BlackRock scaling in? Sure. Yep. But why wouldn't BlackRock just want to buy lower? I mean, this is when I see Michael Saylor bragging about paying higher prices. I don't understand that shit. I don't get it. Now, I'll present you an inflammatory idea, which is inflammatory, and I have absolutely no evidence whatsoever for, but we'll just play some game theory, dream theory. If you wanted to get the best deal on stuff, would you tell people before you bought or after you bought? So you were going to buy a whole shitload of something. You would tell after, because you don't want to get front run. So let's say you wanted to buy all the houses on a block. Would you tell everyone ahead of time so that they could collude against you and you pay the maximum imaginable price? Or would you be quiet and get one and get one and get one and get one, and then there's just like one guy left and you hope he didn't notice? You would do that. You want to pay less price when you're getting in. You don't want to pay more. So when I see people advertising that they're going to buy things, that seems shady to me. And so who is the only person to benefit from paying a higher price? People are selling. So if you bought before your entity put trades on, and then you sold after the trade was finished, you just bought the bottom and sold the top. If your other entity's purchase really moved the price up. So like if you were a trader at a large firm and you knew when your firm was going to move a price up by entering in a way that was a market buy, and so it has to move the price up, you just could front run the trade. Probably illegal, probably unethical, probably there's a bunch of people that do it every day. You're just making free money buying before the trade gets executed and selling right after it with little risk, because you knew the price had to move that much in a market order. Like you could see unless there's iceberg orders and hidden liquidity, like absorbing the buy. So I just, anytime I see people acting against their own interests, I really think that's shady. There's something else going on. So people are telling me they're gonna buy. Something feels wrong about that. That doesn't make any sense. What do I think about Celsius and BlockFi? They suck giant, massive balls. You give up your coins to make a little baby return, a little baby single percent return. Not single percent, but single digit. You are the reason, idiots, that give up your coins, that give up your private keys to get you're picking up pennies in front of freight trains, and then your ass gets run over. How many times does everyone have to lose their money? Company called Cred. You give them your private keys. They lend those coins out. They say they're going to pay you interest, and bankrupt. You lost all your money. Oopsie. Oh, how'd that happen? Well, Satoshi invented Bitcoin to get rid of counterparty risk, so your dumbass goes and finds a counterparty to give your keys to and lose all your money. Good job. Good job, dude. Leave your money on an exchange, lose it all. Give your money to a lending company, lose it all. You know what someone should do? Someone should invent a way to make yield while you hold your own private keys, while you hold your coins. And because, you know what? They're nice, they should give it away for free to Bitcoin holders. And then they could make yield while holding their own private keys. I did that. Oh my God, that's exactly what I did. And look, I'm wearing the shirt. Amazing. Yes, I invented something that generates yield while you hold your own private keys and you mint your own interest. It's like a miracle. What a good invention. Every day, Cryptocurrency holders are like, man, I wish I could make yield on my cryptocurrency, and then I can make gains on my gains. I'll get more coins as interest, and those coins will be worth more, and then they multiply by each other. So if I get a 10x on the coin and I get 60% more of the coins, I got a 16x. Yes. I invented that, dude. So like, cryptocurrency was invented to remove middlemen. If you give your keys to a middleman, you're what's wrong with the world, and you're the reason we get headlines of XYZ company lost XYZ millions of dollars due to hack or insider trading. Or you want to give you a list? You want to give you a list of some? Quadriga CX took all the money and ran. Goodbye, bankrupt. Cryptopia took all the money and ran. Goodbye. Well, okay. Hacked, liquidated, bankrupt. Cryptopia, bankrupt. Quadriga CX, bankrupt. BTCE, shut down by the government. Mt. Gox, bankrupt. Bankrupt, and then still holding everyone's money after that happened in 2013. It's 2021, 8 years later. So they went bankrupt, and they're still holding everyone's money hostage 8 years later. Who else? Tons of DeFi projects, just tons. Today, two had their front ends hacked. Pancake Swap on BSC had their front end hacked. DNS hack. You could say, oh, it's not the team, it's social. I don't give a fuck. Users are still losing money. The front end asked people for their private keys. Guarantee you people are putting their seed words into the hacked website, losing all their money. So that happened to Pancake. That happened to another one. Some other one. Cream? No. Was it Cream? Yeah, Cream. So Cream and Pancake, Uniswap forks, both got like wrecked on DNS hacks today. And then some Reef coin reneged on an OTC deal that they were going to do with Alameda, wrecked. And then like I have a list I put on Twitter of all of these things getting shut down. Hacker News went down today. What else? Intermittent. It's up sometimes. This is always constantly bad news happening. Oh yeah, OKX and Huobi and like all the Chinese exchanges got all their like WeChat accounts banned. The government's like, illegal, we don't like that. All right. No, look, that's not their fault, right? But is it bad? Sure, it sucks. It's bad still, you know? Yeah, and what bad thing has happened to Hex? Nothing. Everything's going great. Everything's awesome. Fabulous. Everything's going great. And all around us, everything else is failing, and Hex is doing amazing. And eventually, people will realize the opportunity. I mean, the opportunity is that you see something that is performing wonderfully while everything else is not. Dylan Murray, there's so much leverage, all-time high leveraged funds on the stock, SPY, NASDAQ market at the moment. If something happens in the world and the sell-off happens, I don't think it'll just be 40%. Maybe, but you got to understand it trades versus a dollar, and they're printing a dollar out of thin air, like just for giggles. And as long as they're just going to keep deflating, as long as they're going to keep reducing the purchasing power of the dollar, you know, a 50% drop becomes like a 30% drop because the USD is just not worth much, right? Like so you have to account for the dollar being so like they're just printing the living shit out of it, which means you can't dip as hard because you're trading versus this thing that's so easy to get. It's so easy to get dollars. All those new dollars have to go somewhere. Where are they going to go? Assets, which is why assets do new all-time highs, period. You think they're putting it in a negative yielding savings account? They're not. Richard doesn't have a crystal ball. He has a Swarovski ball. All right, nice. Thank you. People always ask me to light these candles. It's fine. The candles look good as they are. If you want to go through my videos, you can find ones where I've done it. Just caught up. Shout out to 2x playback speed. Yeah, good idea, man. If I hear you guys mentioning random garbage coins in my chat, I'm going to block you. You're not going to be able to like post and chat anymore. So don't. I'm forking Ethereum. I don't need your suggestions on other platforms, okay? Thanks. I got it covered. I don't need your advice. What's Bitcoin? Good one. People are on here to argue your stream title. Good. Give me that free engagement, homies. Make that algorithm happy. Do it, please. Because I don't even bother doing thumbnails or editing these videos to get rid of like the stuff that should be edited out. I don't even bother with any of that. So I need all the help I can get for the old algorithm. How exactly will your ETH fork diverge from the main one? Will it be a parallel chain or develop extra features? Faster, cheaper, proof of stake instead of proof of work, and coin burning. I think those are the primary features, yeah. There's not really anything other than that. Richard R., thanks so much. Love all your stuff. Thanks a lot, man. Why do you need a title like this? Because otherwise people won't click. These boobs, while big, they're not enough to do the job. We need either larger boobs and thumbnails or stupid all caps headlines like these. Have you seen the other Bitcoin headlines? They all are like this, but they contain more inflammatory language. Dump, crash, all, you know, stupid faces. Like, so I'm not going that far, but I'm willing to type in all caps. Okay, I'll type in all caps. I guess saying this shit could go to 0 is also inflammatory, so I guess I'm willing to go that far too. In all caps, what? Invent a product to produce yield while holding your private keys. Tell me more. Thanks, HexMac. Scrolling down here. I like your shirt. Thanks. You're really selling me on this? Tell me more. I'm new to Hex and this DeFi thing. Just go to hex.com, man. You'll love it. If you know about Bitcoin already, you can go to hex.com/techspecs and you'll see the differences and the similarities. But if you're not like expert, don't go to the tech specs page. Just go to hex.com. Gains on gains. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. Oh my God, title, make me quit watching this YouTube. Don't care. Fuck off. What do you, am I making money on you? Are you paying me? If you don't like what you paid for this free live stream, return it. It's free. I'm giving you expert level education for free, and you're giving me nothing but shit posts in my chat. Like, there's an asymmetry here. Hi, multi-billionaire token founder, pleb. No one cares about you, pleb. You want to learn, you can watch me. You don't want to learn, Alt F4. Goodbye. Like, so easy. Hexfish is like, Cryptopia got my coins. You done messed up, man. You want my private keys, Rich? No, I don't want your private keys. I built everything to be better than all the other things out there. Okay, normal DeFi, their front end goes down, no one can use the product anymore. Oops. Decentralized only in name, actual use case for the user, not decentralized. One front end on one server, oopsie. Now let's talk about Hex. Does everything better. Go to hex.com goes down. You can go to apphex.win. You can go to backuphex.com. You can go to hexmob.win. You can go to staker.app. You can go to etherscan.io. And there's a manual written on how to use it. You've got 5 or 6 different options to interface with Hex without having to code one yourself. So go.hex.com is not important. It's just another way to run the code if you want to. Now, how many other projects have decentralized front ends with different maintainers on different servers with different code bases, totally unrelated to each other? Hex does. I don't even think Uniswap, well, maybe, I mean, Uniswap's got a shitload of front ends, but they're mostly the same code base. I don't know of too many like alternate code bases that access Uniswap. I mean, maybe you could say 1inch and like match it at XYZ do because they're aggregators. So I would say like, okay, Uniswap has as many or more front ends than we do, but everyone else is like a joke. Like everyone else's DeFi front end, when it goes down, you're just fucked. Super fucked. If like go to hex.com goes down, no one really cares. You can use one of like 6 different other ones. This is vastly superior. Oh, and other things, like even if you use Uniswap, Uniswap asks for permission to spend all your coins, unlimited. That's what Uniswap asks for. Does Hex ask for any permission to spend any of your coins? No. It doesn't even ask for permission to spend your Hex because there's no contract that's going to be, so like Hex is just designed better. It doesn't even ask you for permission to spend the Hex because it doesn't have some other contract that's going to spend on your behalf. So it doesn't need that authorization or that permission. It requires you to sign the transaction when you want to do it. And you never are delegating that authority for some other thing to sign on your behalf, like another contract, which is what Uniswap's and most DeFi's design pattern is. So the majority of DeFi design pattern is give us permission to spend all of your coins forever and hope that we don't have an upgradable proxy that we use to empty that shit later. And that's what happens. There are people out there that give contracts permission to spend their coins. Upgradable proxy steals all the money. Happens all the time. Hex is better. Hex has better design patterns, better audits, better uptime, just better everything. And people, I post every day, new hacks. Hey, look, new hacks, look, people losing millions of dollars. And I try and reach as many people as I can, but I can only reach so many people, I can only save so many. Any plans for a Hex Speedo this summer? We have had Hex bikinis on a website, but we never turned the billing on. I'm not sure if they had Speedos. It's just, would you rather have me doing phone calls? So the majority of my days have been doing strategy meetings with developers, including some new ones, on how to fork Ethereum the right way. That's what I'm spending my time on. So go.hex. So I sent a tweet that said, are you a developer? Do you know Solidity and Go or Rust? Now, why do I care about Go or Rust? Because those are the premier clients that are used for people to operate the Ethereum network, with Parity being developed in Rust and with Geth being developed in Go. So most people are choosing to run Geth. Like I believe all of Infura runs Geth. And I believe most Ethereum forks are built on Geth. And so really, I prefer to put on guys that know Go language. And I don't actually even care if you know Solidity, to tell you the truth. So, because there ain't no Solidity in the Ethereum node software. There's no Solidity there. The Ethereum node software allows an EVM to exist. And that EVM runs compiled bytecode from various language, of which the most popular one is Solidity, but it also can run bytecode from whatever else you want to use. So if you want to use something that's similar to Python, it's called, can't remember. So basically Solidity is like JavaScript similar, and then there's some Python similar one whose name I can't remember right now. Uniswap v1 was written in it. Uniswap v2 was written in Solidity. So even guys that championed that stuff ended up flipping to the crappier but safer Solidity language. So from my perspective, I care about Go developers. I really like it if you're Hexican. And that's about it. And I don't actually care about your Rust language, and I don't actually care about your Solidity language. But for other projects, the Solidity is nice to have on there. So yeah, that's where I'm at. So I'm spending today I spent my day with calls with developers and calls with lawyers. So many lawyers. So remember I was telling you about launching something to compete with Grayscale. And so I have this policy of never giving you forward-looking price statements and never giving you expectation of profit from the work of others. So I'm really going to try and continue to maintain that stance, because I think it's a unique and clean way to do things. So how can I phrase this? Boy, it sure really would be cool if there was a way to buy Hex at your brokerage the same way that you can buy Bitcoin through various OTC listed vehicles. So basically, to list on OTC, you have to have a year of financial statements audited. To have a year of financial statements, you have to be a year old. You also have to have, I'm not going to give you specific numbers because I consider it competitive intelligence, but you have to have a certain number of investors, and those investors have to add up to a certain number of millions of dollars to have enough free tradable shares for the OTC people to list you. And it helps if what they're listing is of a form they're used to, so that they just don't say, no, we don't feel like figuring it out. they feel like, yes, and we've already seen this before, so cool. So it sure would be awesome if there was a way to buy HEX on OTC or buy HEX as an accredited investor. See, okay, you want to list on OTC. Well, what's being listed there? Shares. Okay, well, where do the shares come from? Oh, shares in a company that have aged. All right, well, how did those shares get created? Well, there has to be shareholders. All right, well, where do those shareholders come from? A private placement memorandum that allows accredited investors to purchase before the OTC deal. And then the way this works in Grayscale usually is that there's usually a premium. So as an accredited investor, you're going to send Grayscale, $1 million, and they're going to use that $1 million to buy Bitcoin. And then you'll be able to dump on OTC head 6 months later because they filled out a form I'm not going to tell you the number of, but there's a special form you can fill out with a little bit higher due diligence that allows you to reduce the hold time for your limited partners that have, sent their $1 million in, their accredited investors. There's even another level of accredited investor that's like a qualified investor or something, which is even higher. I think it's like a 3 million net worth or something. I don't have those particulars memorized, but there is a level above accredited investor, which was fun to find out. So LPs send their $1 million, they get their shares, their money is used to buy Bitcoin. They age for 6 months, which requires an extra form. If you don't have that extra form filled out with that higher due diligence reporting requirements, you're going to have them wait a year. So now they wait a year, and then, okay, they can sell down that 20% premium and make their 20% plus the appreciation of the underlying asset. And now, just recently, which is quite rare, the Grayscale Trust is trading at a deficit to spot instead of a premium to spot. So that's kind of how it works. So it sure would be cool if some limited partners bought, so I'll use this in language that a layman can understand a little bit easier. You're Joe Blow, you hear HEX is awesome, you want to buy some, but you don't feel like installing MetaMask. You want to buy it on your normal, you want to put it in your 401k, you want to buy it on your normal broker where you're buying your stonks and whatever else you're used to doing. And so now you're going to see a ticker symbol, and that ticker symbol is going to represent shares in HEX. Now, why shares in HEX instead of just HEX? Because HEX is this miraculous invention that pays you yield if you stake it and you have shares. So take Grayscale. Grayscale buys Bitcoin. Do they get yield on their Bitcoin? I don't think they do. Because in order to get yield, you have to take risk with Bitcoin. You have to give your coins to someone else to lend them out to get that yield and hope that they come back. And oftentimes they do not. And from what I've read of the Grayscale documents, I'm rather positive that they cannot take that risk of lending out those coins and trying to make yield on them. So they just sit there. They hope the price goes up, but they don't earn more Bitcoin. Whereas in HEX, if you lock up your HEX, you're gonna make more HEX. If you lock a really long time, so like Grayscale, there's no right of redemption. So why wouldn't you lock a long time? You're just going to make more yield. You're going to make more interest. But they can't because it's Bitcoin. But in HEX, they could. So, hey, Grayscale, if you're listening and you want to launch a HEX trust before someone else does, get to it. Otherwise some lawyers might get rich for no particular reason. So you've already got, Grayscale already has. So of Grayscale's like 9 products, 6 are actually OTC traded. And that's the reason that those have, probably the reason they have higher assets under management. So, the ones that aren't OTC traded have in between like 28 and 56 million assets under management. They've got 30 billion in their Bitcoin trust. And they've got, I think 20 billion in their Ethereum trust. And maybe like 127 in their biggest other trusts like Bitcoin Cash and whatever else. They've got like in between 127 and 150 in those other OTC listed ones. So it's like the difference between all of those products and HEX is that with HEX, you get paid for longer stakes. And since they don't have a right of redemption, which would force them to sell, like, oh, someone bought shares of GBTC and now they want to turn those shares into Bitcoin so that they can sell the Bitcoin, that is not allowed. You can buy your shares and sell your shares, but you can't turn your shares into Bitcoin. So there are some other trusts that do allow redemption, but they're so much smaller. It's not even worth talking about. 30 billion, I mean, they own 3% of Bitcoin. Now, if you think about what 3% is of the actual available supply, it's actually a huge percent. You know, people say that maybe there's like 4 million actual Bitcoin that you can actually buy or sell. That's what's left to trade around with, and everything else is just locked up. People ain't selling it, or the keys are lost, right? Like, good luck getting Satoshi's million coins. Good luck. So, you know, 3%, if only 25%, okay, let's say the total supply is like 19 million coins right now, and let's say only 4 million is liquid. So we'll just say it's like 25%. It's not, it's less, but we'll say it's 25%. You know, what is 3% times 4? It's like 12%. So like maybe Grayscale has like 12 or 15%. Wow. I that particular math analogy isn't that right. There's no reason to count their off-chain supply as like some unique special off-chain supply different from other off-chain supply that you just can't get to, right? So it's like if Satoshi has 5% and they have 3% and they never sell theirs, then it's probably just similar to Satoshi not selling his 5%. So I retract that math, right? Let's just say that them owning 3% is a whole shitload. Let's say that. There's no reason to take it as a percent of liquid, because it'd be more accurate to compare it to a percent of illiquid, right? Because it's such a larger one. Anyway, long story short, it'll be awesome if someone can buy HEX already staked for 15 years for them, and then they just don't have a right of redemption to sell it. And then it's just like the GBTC. So money goes into GBTC, it's used to buy Bitcoin, it never sells the Bitcoin. And then people trade those shares after a 6-month delay, and people love trading those shares, and it's great. And this isn't the only place where you see that. There's also land trusts. Like, there's a trust that just buys up all the land in Texas and just keeps buying, and that's it. That's what it does. You want to get exposure to Texas land prices, you can buy shares in this thing, and that represents Texas land through them just buying it all the time. I think that would be very, very bullish for HEX. You know, we have seen increasing average stake length. I believe that the average stake length is like 5.28 years now. I used to quote 4.98. I think the average stake length is going up. Imagine if it went up even more because people were locking longer, and because there's no right of redemption, those coins just never get sold. Unless maybe in some event of like in the future, there's some bankruptcy or something, maybe a liquidation could occur. But I mean, how are you really going to go bankrupt? Like, I have never seen one of these things get wrapped up and have to dump the coins, but there's not a lot of examples. So yeah, from what I've seen, these things just end up buying and buying a lot, and everyone gets rich is the history of these things so far, because Bitcoin's never been down for 3 years. It's always made a new all-time high every 3 years. Well, that's pretty cool. And, you know, there ain't too many things that you can say that in the world where, hey, Bitcoin's up 6 million X and it's never been down for more than 3 years. I don't think Ethereum's ever been down for more than 3 years either. So HEX definitely hasn't been down for more than 3 years because it ain't 3 years old. And it just did a new all-time high, what, 2 months ago? So maybe 2.5 months ago. Long story short, if Grayscale wants to make a trust for HEX that makes 15-year stakes and gives a 60% APY in HEX, I mean, right now it's like 57%, I think. You get 57% APY in HEX with a 36, 41 day or longer stake. And then you'll be able to trade those with some liquidity without having to wait 15 years. So I think encapsulated stakes are pretty cool because they can, if everyone's doing them at long time to enhance the revenue, you're going to get higher average stake lengths. And for the tier 1 system, it's just going to see buys and never sells because there's no right of redemption. So like, okay, some people bought HEX, they staked it for 15 years. Price goes up, they can't dump it, so it just stays up, right? Or I mean, the price could do what it wants, but from that particular entity that bought and never sold, can't really do much more. Like if someone buys and stakes it for 15 years, that's pretty much the optimal possible behavior that you would want to see participants doing to enhance the value of HEX. I can't think of something better that someone could do than buy and stake for 15 years. Like that's about as good as I can think of. So yeah, like if Grayscale wants to do that, like they've got some other trusts, get cracking, boys. Because otherwise, I think some lawyers are going to make some money and do that. It's my guess. So, and then as a side note, I think it would be smart, like when I used to run a car stereo store, people would go through the ads and they'd look for what they wanted to buy. Oh, you want to buy some Rockford Fosgate Punch 800 amplifier. 800 watts continuous, 1600 watts max, enough to push 4 Rockford Fosgate competition 12s to pop them, basically, if you run them for long enough. And no one can fit 4 12s in their trunk for the most part, so they're just going to absolutely destroy 2 12s. Now things are different. They handle a lot more watts now. You can fit them in smaller boxes now. It's a different world than it was in the early 2000s. But I mean, even now, 1600 watts is enough to make your windows start leaking, right? Like you have to reseal your windshield, depending on what kind of car you got. So people just wanted something that was more than they needed. Like they got two subs that were rated for 400 watts each, but that was max, but they didn't understand that. So they thought it was continuous RMS. And then they want, a Punch 800 because their speakers can handle 800, but they can't actually handle 800. They can actually only handle 400 max times 2. They can handle 800 max, not 800 continuous. And so if you had just 2 subs, you're popping them with that Punch 800. So you get your advertisement out there, Punch 800 watt amp. Now they've got a call. Is this the Punch 800 model number, which puts out 1600 watts max? Or is this a Punch amplifier that puts out 800 watts, which just happens to be perfect for my 2 12-inch subs, at this low price point of $195 instead of the $600 to $800 that you'd pay for the Punch 800 new? So yes, you can get the perfect amplifier for $200, but you're going to call because it says 800 watt Punch. You have to verify, like, is it the model number 800 or is it the watts 800? And they don't even need the model number 100. Their system can't handle it. So you get them in on the thing they want, and then you explain, look, yeah, you can get that, and I'm going to sell it to you the best price around. Or I got this other thing, which is going to cost you less, and I'm going to make more money on it, and it better fits your purpose. So they would come in and want, Rockford Fosgate Punch 12s, and then I would let them hear Excursion 12 inches that had, 50% more X max, better power handling, better physical compliance and longer voice coils and wider voice coils, and they're just superior product, operate in a smaller box. And so at that time back then, the Excursions just beat up the Punches badly. Longer warranty, lower cost to get in, better sound. I won, I made more money. They won, they spent more money and got better product. And I think having a premium kind of loss leader offer where, hey, you want to get a Bitcoin trust? We got that for you. We got that for you at the lowest rates you're going to find. And while you're here, let me just mention, if you like superior performance, we also have this HEX, and you might want to check it out because it's better. And here's why. So that was my lawyer calls, and then developer calls. I mean, I don't know how much of other people's roadmaps I'm allowed to share publicly, but there are people in the HEX ecosystem working on layer 2 HEX stakes to allow people to on-ramp via layer 2. So you're not having to pay $35 to go through Uniswap. And you're not having to pay $8 to send just raw Ethereum somewhere. To send exchange from the exchange to your wallet, that's $8 now on Ethereum. If you want to send HEX, that's $16 now on Ethereum. And we've seen it spike higher. It sucks. It really sucks. So, and that's just, there's other suck coming too. So guess what? Ethereum, the unstoppable computer? Well, the unstoppable computer has developers voting to raise certain projects' prices and not other projects. What? Yeah. So they raised the price of loading from data, the S-load function. They raised its cost 4x, either right after HEX launched or just before it, one of the two. Can't remember which. And we saw it, and we're like, oh, we have to account for this. That's the reason you can't have 50-year stakes. That's the reason your max stake is 15 years, because they raised the S-load cost by 4x, which broke a lot of dApps, by the way. There are dApps that were just murdered by the devs because they decided to change some parameters. Okay. Well, time to raise those costs again. This new fork that's coming up, the Berlin fork in April 14th, which is less than a month from now, about a month, call it a month, it's going to raise the S-load cost again. And it's going to raise it from 400 to, or no, it went from 200 to 800. And now it's going from 800 to 2100. Oh, but Richard, you can use approved lists. And if you warm up the storage and are using it from the same address, then it becomes cheaper. Who's doing that? One address is not at the same time performing 20 end stakes that all overlap the same time zone to take advantage of in that transaction, warming up that data slot to reduce its cost. It's not happening. People spread their stakes over time. They don't have a bunch like ending the same day, all overlapping. So basically, this new fork is going to increase the cost to end stakes. Now, is it increasing the cost for everybody else? No, not increasing the cost for everybody else. Why? Because everybody else has fake bullshit that doesn't actually use business logic and storage. Every other thing going on Ethereum for the most part is like some comedy ERC20 bullshit that doesn't need to actually store data or do business logic. But because HEX is a real invention that does truly innovative things, we need to do math. We need to add things. And the process of loading something from storage so that you can do a loop and add it for every day someone earned interest, that business logic requires us to load the damn data. And so the concept that it costs $16 to send HEX really pisses me off. And it's not just HEX, it's every ERC20. So it's twice, it costs you twice. To send an ERC20 costs you about twice what it costs to send ETH. So it costs 21,000 gas to send ETH, costs about 45,000, I think, or 40,000, something in that range to send an ERC20. Now, for HEX's functions that use gas, HEX is extremely, amazingly efficient. We use caching so that we reduce the amount of reads and writes, which are the most expensive functions that you can use in Ethereum. We use bitwise shifting and bit packing to use the minimum number of data slots. So we're an extremely gas optimized contract. If you see what other people are paying to mint stupid cats or to do whatever other dumb crap they're doing, boy, do they pay a lot more. Like apparently people that played games built on top of HEX, those games to end your game stake or whatever, I mean, you're talking like $1,000 from what I hear. I don't play any of the games, so I don't know the real cost. I've never seen them, but from what I hear, it's like $1,000. Basically, I heard hexologists say like someone gave him some game token coins, and he would just take a look what it would cost to like end the stake with him, and it was like $1,000 is what he told me, or what I saw him post or say on a stream. So HEX is extremely gas optimized, but that doesn't help us with the $16 cost to send, and it doesn't cost us with the you want to on ramp, okay, on ramp through Uniswap, and now you got to pay three times what a send costs, or 6 times what a send costs, and now you're in like $50, $60 to do a swap on Uniswap. It sucks. It's not okay. And with this fork that's coming up in a month, it may not affect the swaps much, but it'll affect your end stakes. That pisses me off, man. You want to scale storage? Storage is naturally scaling. Go optimize your database. Go increase the block size limit. It worked fine last time. You went from 10 million gas max per block to 12 million. It went fine. It went absolutely fine. So take it to 15. Take it to 20. Okay, it went too far. Back it off a little bit. But don't just increase the fees. Sucks. Really sucks. So, you know what the solution is? A lot of other people have already forked Ethereum. Those things work just fine. Haven't heard of anyone losing any money on any Ethereum forks except Ethereum Classic. Why? Because it uses proof of work. And proof of work is easily attackable. So if you're a minority, if you use the same proof of work other things do, and people can just go rent it on NiceHash, then they can just rent 51% attack you. It's garbage, right? So you do not want to be a minority hash rate. And so your only options are use proof of stake or hack in some checkpointing, which sucks, super centralized, or so use proof of stake, do checkpointing, or try and do a proof of work change, and proof of work change doesn't work because now any botnet can attack you. So screw proof of work change, screw proof of work. I've never heard of proof of stake coin losing money. I've heard of a lot of proof of work coins losing money. Raven coin, inflation bug. Bitcoin, inflation bug. Ethereum Classic, multiple 51% attacks. Like now some of these inflation bugs aren't particularly the fault of the proof of work. So, yeah. Proof of work Ethereum forks, I haven't heard of any of them losing money. Delegated proof of stake coins, I've never heard of them having consensus failure losing money. Haven't heard of it. Pretty sure it works. Oh, who else is switching to proof of stake and getting rid of proof of work? Ethereum. Okay, and how are they doing that? They're moving system state over to a proof of work system that they already have up on testnet, which is ETHEREUM 2.0. So proof of stake's here. It ain't going nowhere. We use proof of stake and HEX to distribute inflation. We only use proof of work because Ethereum does, so I haven't figured out the tokenomics as to the fundamentals of the token. I haven't figured that out yet. I don't think it'll take me long. It's what I do in my free time. But I think it would be very, very cool for HEX and perhaps some other things, maybe all the things, to have a place to operate that is cheaper and faster, and is cheaper and faster because it switched from proof of work to proof of stake. Now, is there a security trade-off? Kind of, yeah. If some evil people decide to go hunt down 100 servers and lock everybody up that ran the 100 servers, then the community would probably be like, hey, we're forking back to proof of work. And then what did you get done? So, and by the way, this is the same thing that you'd do to Bitcoin. Like how many actual farms and their pools are responsible for all of Bitcoin's hash rate? 6, 8, might actually be 4. And they're just trying to make it look like they're not that big. So they just spread it out more. So if you decided to start kicking in doors and trying to disturb the proof of work ecosystem, you could do it. But no one is going to do it because then these are socially enforced networks. The real thing that makes blockchains work, it's not the hash rate, it's not the chain length, it's not the chain weight, it's a social consensus. So why is a fake Bitcoin not worth the same as a real Bitcoin? Because the social consensus says, no, not fair, not cool. We believe in that, not that. Right? Why is an Ethereum worth more than an Ethereum Classic, even though the Ethereum Classic is the real Ethereum, and the real Ethereum is actually the fork? Like unstoppable code, unstoppable computing. The real Ethereum was like, no, DAO hacker loses his money. Sorry, hacker doesn't get paid. And then Ethereum Classic was like, yes, hacker gets paid. It's fair. He won. And it's hard to say who was right. Apparently it worked out because Ethereum's, outperforming Bitcoin 2-to-1 over the last year and a half. So I know proof of stake consensus works. I know a lot of projects have forked Ethereum and done very well. I know that you can do it affordably, cheaply. Why not? Why not do these things? The other option is, do you want to pay $16 to send? That doesn't have anything to do with the HEX contract. This is totally outside our control. Is it okay that to on-ramp to HEX, it costs like $35 or $45 in a Uniswap fee, which is also extremely gas optimized, I might add, or that you have to pay $16 to do a send? I said this before. Listen, if Ethereum goes down or it starts to suck too bad, there's other networks we can go to, or we can just fork it. That's what I've been saying since the beginning. Okay, well, it sucks now, so I'm forking it. And if the HEX community finds consensus to say, yes, it's a good idea, let's move over to this other thing, then cool. And if not, I'm fucking still doing it anyway. There's going to be a fork of Ethereum that I'm going to like more than any of the other ones. So, like, period. That's what's happening. How would forking ETH benefit HEX? Well, I'm not exactly sure yet. I know that paying nothing to on-ramp users instead of paying $16, I think paying nothing for sends is better than paying $16. I know that. And I know paying like nearly nothing for swaps, so like no promise of work from others, no expectations, just doing some thinking with you here, some brainstorming. Let's say, so what do you need to have a functioning HEX? You need a consensus network that is trustworthy and reliable. Okay, Ethereum is that. But it's too goddamn expensive now. Okay, so then you just fork it and use proof of stake instead of proof of work. And as long as the stakeholders that are mining the blocks are decentralized and distributed, and they're not all getting their doors kicked in for something that is okay to do. Is it okay to mine? Yes. Is it okay to run nodes? Yes. Okay, so why is anyone getting their doors kicked in? They wouldn't. It's never happened before. I've never heard of any node operator ever having their door kicked in for running a node for a cryptocurrency. Never heard of it. Don't think it would be legal to do that. So I don't think it would be legal to assault people that are running cryptocurrency nodes. Doesn't make sense to me. So, and it's never happened to the best of my knowledge in any civilized country. So now we need a consensus network that functions properly. We know Ethereum does that, and we know Ethereum forks do that. Like, people are using Matic right now to do HEX. So people are using Matic to do trading for HEX and Ethereum now. It's a layer 2. But is it really a layer 2? No, it's a fork of Ethereum that just checkpoints back to Ethereum sometimes. Okay, so it's a fork of Ethereum, yes. Are there other forks of Ethereum? Yes, XDAI is another fork. Okay, are there other forks? Yeah, TRX is a fork. Are there other forks? Yeah, BSC is a fork. Are there other forks? Yeah, ETH Classic is a fork, but it gets 51% tax, so fuck that. There's all kinds of forks of Ethereum out there. And I ain't hearing about nobody losing no damn money, except for the Ethereum Classic guys. So there's already hexagons that have provided liquidity to QuickSwap on layer 2 Matic. And I know hexagons that are building out layer 2 infrastructure so that new guys can make stakes on layer 2 and get staked without having to pay these dumb fees. But that doesn't save the guys that already have stakes. The guys that already have stakes that are getting beat up with these fees, no layer 2 thing is going to save those guys. If you want to save the layer 2 guys, which I do, or if you want to save the layer 1 guys, which I do, these stupid end stake fees, which by the way are going up in a month, it's just disgusting to me. So you need a new home. Okay, well, where should that home be? Pump somebody else's bag? Nah, fuck that. I like hexagons. I want to work with hexagons. So I'd like to see some hexagons launch a fork of ETH. It's a good idea. I like it, you know, and that's what I've been spending my time on these last few days. Like, if you don't see me tweeting, I'm working. So these last few days, it's just talking, you know, what's minimum viable necessary. And right now, for me, minimum viable necessary is a VMware or other, right, encapsulation, Docker, Kubernetes, whatever, to fight dependency hell that has testnet issued on it. And then we can iterate things that are important to users on that testnet. Like, okay, well, let's have a version of Etherscan. Let's have a block explorer. Okay, let's have a version of Infura for people that don't want to host their own nodes and just want to use APIs. And then, so if you've got consensus network, if you've got system state from L1 already, and if you've got an Infura and a block explorer, you're good to go. Now, the only thing you're missing is wallet. And guess what? It's already done. So right now in MetaMask, if you want to use Matic, you just drop down a drop-down box, type the URL. And I think I've even seen screenshots of them making that easier to just drop it down without having to type anything. So less user error, right? And why would MetaMask support that? Because MetaMask is making all of its money on swaps, all of it. So why would they want to be tied to one chain? And I've even seen Etherscan have multiple other Etherscans for other chains by the same team. So Etherscan's down to play multi-chain. MetaMask is down to play multi-chain. And I'm happy to have another chain. So, you know, it seems very nice to me. How long does it take? Well, we're going to find out. It depends on whether all of these readmes and all of these setup instructions do what they're supposed to do, and how many little edge cases are there, and how many little steps were left out, you know, because when you go through and start recreating what people say is supposed to work, you find out that it doesn't actually work. And then you've got to fix things. You're like, this was left out and that was left out. And you got to do this before that. And, you know, software's hard. Software's hard. Cryptocurrency software is harder, but it's worth it. You know, I want to see HEX at the #1 market cap. And in order for that to happen, I don't think you should have a $45 penalty to on-ramp a new user. It's disgusting to me. And I don't think you should have increasing fees out the ass. I don't like it. You know, when HEX started, you had a penny fee. Now what's the fee? I mean, depending on how long your stake is, it could be $60, it could be $100. Fuck that. Like, it's just, so right now Hexicans are giving Bitcoin miners, rather Ethereum miners, an average of $15,000 every day. And I believe 25% of that is swaps on Uniswap. And so I don't have the exact breakdown of how much is start stakes and end stakes and such, because start stakes are actually pretty affordable. End stakes are the things that increase cost the more days you're in staking, looping through, adding your rewards on each day. So like, I dream of a better future where you can buy HEX at the place where you buy your stocks, where you can trade HEX without ever having to buy ETH, without ever having to pay high fees, where you can end your stakes without ever having to buy high fees, where you can on-ramp without ever having to buy high fees. And you know what? I don't have to bleed brand awareness to these other projects which have never been nice to us. Vitalik has never said a nice thing about HEX. To the best of my knowledge, Vitalik has never said a nice thing about me, while I have shilled the living fuck out of his bags. So Vitalik has a bag of 330,000 ETH. It's publicly viewable address. I have shilled the fuck out of MetaMask. I have shilled the fuck out of Vitalik's bags. I have shilled the fuck out of safety. I have shilled the fuck out of getting people's private keys into their own hands. I manually invented something which got people to take control of their own private keys by airdropping people that only had control of their own private keys. Or not really an airdrop, but they minted their own HEX because they were able to mint their own HEX because they had their own private keys, if you're a Bitcoin holder. I've warned people against scams. I have warned people about rug pulls. I've done absolutely everything you can do to be a wonderful citizen. I give away free self-help books. I promote the Sense Foundation, the same foundation that he promotes. And I obviously am doing an okay job because Lex Friedman just invited me. I don't remember, like, he invited me to come speak with him in person. And then I got to decide whether I want to risk getting COVID and flying to the States to go talk with him in person. And he was even nice enough to offer to pay the flight and pay the hotel. It's very nice. And he's in the intellectual dark web. I'm in the intellectual dark web. Eric Weinstein's in the intellectual dark web. Brett Weinstein's in the intellectual dark web. Joe Rogan's in the intellectual dark web. All these guys are on their same shows, and I have just been offered to up my status and join. You know, maybe it's because I have been telling the truth for so long that I'm starting to make an impact in the world. You know, maybe it's because I have had talks with, you know, more mainstream people like Harry Dent and Jane King, and you know, I should put up richardhart.com with my television appearances on, you know, RT television in Russia and CNBC Africa and some of the other things that I've done. You know, been on stage in Sweden with their finance ministers there. I've got a lot of cool social proof stuff that I probably should put up. So, you know, if I want to see HEX do the things that I know are possible, it is a better product than Bitcoin. It has more features than Bitcoin. It doesn't have liquidity yet. That's opportunity. The most opportunity in Bitcoin was when the liquidity was the lowest. The most opportunity in Ethereum was when the liquidity was the lowest. Same for Facebook, same for Amazon, same for almost everything. Your maximum potential and opportunity is when your liquidity was the lowest. Today, someone was asking me how to do limit buys. I had to walk him through it. I took him to matcha.xyz. He set some limits. Sweet. Bids, not sells. And then I was wondering, because they upgraded to 0xv4, and previously it was on 0xv3 for limits. And I was like, I wonder if I can see these on Bamboo Relay, which is where I send people to see the order books, because it's the only place I know without custom scripting where you could see the order books. And it used to work for HEX USDC. For some reason, it doesn't now. I know there's orders there on the bid side because I've seen them with a custom script. But so with HEX WETH, which is wrapped Ethereum, you can see the bids. And I just told them to like click the bottom of the buy and click the bottom of the sell. And then it's going to show you like how much is sitting bids. There was like 2.2 million on the bid, and there was like 170,000 on the ask. It's a good ratio. Not even. I don't even think it was 100,000. I think it was maybe like 78,000. So it was like 10x more dollars worth of bids than asks. Well, that's not bad. If everything else is automated market makers, and then you see like huge asymmetry where there's just a ton more bids than asks, yes, the price that they're at matters. I think that the bids started maybe a third lower on the ETH pair, and then transitioned to maybe like a half or 2/3 lower. You'd have to go check it yourself. BambooRelay.com on the HEX WETH pair. You know, like, that's awesome. And if you look, I think HEX is the majority of limit orders. Like no one else is even using that functionality. So if you just click around at different order books, like most of the limit orders that exist, they're actually on HEX. There might be like, maybe the WETH USDC pair has more orders. Because if you go to Bamboo Relay and you just like sort by the different, it'll tell you which pairs have the most orders, I think. And you know, like HEX is either number 1 or number 2. So the reason I went there is because I was curious whether it would just show me the V3 0x orders or if it would also show me the V4, because Matcha.xyz got upgraded to V4 and it did show it. So I was happy to see that. I wish it would show the USDC pair, but it just shows the WETH pair. Richard Hart, I can't send you a super chat, otherwise I would. Just wanted to say I owe you an apology, even though you don't know who I am. Educated myself after watching some of your videos. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that, Mr. Netlux TV. It's real kind of you. Yeah, you know, I'd prefer not to have any income from YouTube. It's just easier. So thank you for offering to send the money. Give it to the SENS Foundation, sens.org/donate. You know, they're going to do good stuff with it. Richard, what about fiat on-ramps? Well, I mean, I talked at length about the one that would allow you to on-ramp as a accredited investor, or a year later as a person that has access through a stock brokerage that gives you access to the OTC bulletin board. OTCQX, I believe is what it's called. I had hundreds of small stakes that were up about a year long that are now coming up, but it's not worth it right now, so I'm letting them bleed. Yep, that's how it is, man. So on the one case, it's a hidden pumpamental. Those coins that you can't get because it's unaffordable to pay the miners to do so, you also can't sell. But to counter that, you know, Hexicans would have had more money to put in, but they had to give it to the miners. So kind of sucks. And what do the miners do it? They dump the ETH price. Lame. We got your back, Richard Hart. Thanks, Nate J. Appreciate it, man. The same dude, but I still did quite well with HEX, so I can't complain too much. I know the feeling, man. Look, you know, in general, bull market means high fees. That's how it is. We knew that. And, you know, if the bear market were a guarantee, maybe we could just wait for the bear to fix the fees. But the bear market is not a guarantee. You could see a bull for another year or two. You could. Well, I ain't waiting. So what would happen to HEX Classic on the original ETH chain once you made a new HEX? Look, I think that the consensus would be similar to other projects that you've seen leave ETH mainnet ERC20 and move to their own, of which some are TRX, BNB, EOS. Some other ones, can't remember them off the top of my head. So this isn't moving from ERC mainnet to different net is been done many times. So it would probably look very similar to that. I have some very cool ideas for that. I won't share them at this time, but it's figured out. Fuck unappreciative Bitcoin holders should have been offered to the wrecked XRP holders. Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Could be. Yep. Would you be willing to hear my app idea if I email you? No. And your username is Bozo Sapien. Double no. No, thank you. I mean, you can go talk about it in Strape if you want, but I don't care. t.me.strape. You can talk about altcoins there. I don't care to hear yet another coin idea. I'm chock full. Richard Hart always looking out for us Hexicans. I try, man. I'd run a node for sure. Maybe. Depends on if you've we'll see. We'll see if you will run a node. If you're willing to commit. I'm not sure what you got to commit yet. Does this change the fundamentals of Hex in any way? Nope. Hex is locked in stone. The Hex contract is not changing. You have system state and you have where that system state operates. But the Hex contract ain't changing. So it's not going to affect that. Love the concern for the little guys now. Hey, man. I penalize whales. Remember? Gox me not. Remember stupid whale penalty? Silly whale penalty? You know, if you had over 10,000 Bitcoin, you got nuked like 75%. If you had over 1,000 Bitcoin, you got nuked 50%. Well, man, I, looked out for the little guy there. The coins are free. How many other, I've looked out for the little guy quite a bit, I feel. Richard, you're too good to us. Right on, Richard. Amen. Forget them all. Thanks, man. And the good thing is, I don't want to get into specifics, but there's new heads and new faces and new people. So if you have more people, you can build more stuff. And you might need even more people still, right? I'm not exactly sure what the accurate head count for maintainers is on an ETH fork. I looked at one recently and there was 14 contributors. But I think there's a power law distribution where a couple of those contributors actually do everything and the other guys don't really do much at all. I didn't drill down to see exactly what the ratio was, but I feel like 2 or 3 really legit dudes could handle an ETH fork well. So far I've got 2. Was I supposed to say that? Fuck. Whatever. Maybe I don't have 2. This shit is hard. Yeah, I already offered to fly Lex to somewhere, and then he counter offered to fly me, and it's meh. But then I could do other stuff, I could do a little local world tour in States, I haven't decided yet. If it's hire devs or tour around COVID America, I feel like hire devs is more important in the short term. Look at you guys getting all excited. What's going on here? Everyone's fire symbols and do it in all caps and holy fucking shit, dude, and all this stuff. You guys saw me tweet the job listing. I don't know that, maybe there's YouTubers here that don't read my tweets. Go subscribe to my Twitter, twitter.com/RichardHartWin. Do it, Lex, best podcast going right now. I think we'd have a great talk. Look, anyone that's on an intellectual dark web is going to love talking to me. Going to love it. Go look at my oldest YouTube videos. That's what I'm about. This is Richard Hart's best stream so far. I am drooling. Is it really? Is this my best stream? My God. Oh, for laughs, you want to see my new watch? I never spend money, so yeah, here it is. The time is wrong so that you guys can't fucking dox me. This is a Rolex Daytona. I'm putting it near my face because I have eye tracking on, so this will put it in focus. The way this watch works is it's waterproof, I think, to 100 meters, which is 300 feet or something? I think it's waterproof to 330 feet. How does it work? Well, there's 2 kind of versions of this. This is going to be short, right? Because people love crypto and getting rich. They want to hear about stupid watches. But I'm just going to mix it up a little bit for you guys. So sapphire crystal face, hard to scratch, right? You can hear the automatic winding. Hear it scraping around in there? So this watch, if you put on a winder, needs to be rotated Bidirectionally, I mean, it'll wind in both directions. 650 times a day. Some watches need more. Some watches only wind in one direction. Might show you a different watch than this one on our next stream. But for this is this one's. You're going to regret ever spending your crypto, by the way. When the all-time highs come, you're going to be like, ah, shit, I wish I never sold any. So consider it carefully. So how does this watch work? Because this is a really old one, the alignment of these small circles here in the middle is perfect along with the 9 and 3 indicator, which means this is a zenith El Primero movement, a 40-30 movement. This is a 41 millimeter watch, which means diagonally it measures 41 millimeters. When you have the end lug, the crown lugs protecting it, it's going to stick out more. Maybe it's like 43 across. If you want to wind it, you unscrew it, which makes it no longer waterproof. And then you just rotate it clockwise so you can listen. That sound is one of the ways you can tell a fake. And if you want to set the time, you just pull it out more, and you can rotate the hand there. And when you pull this all the way out, it's called seconds hacking, which means the second hand is going to stop. Now in this, the El Primero, the second hand that always rotates, is on the left side. But in the newer Rolex 4130 movement, these two indicators here are moved up, which is a little uglier, and the second hand movement's on the right side instead. It's been transposed with the minutes. So I'm going to show you how the chronograph works in a minute. And I mean, technically, if you read this, it's called a cosmograph, but most people refer to it as a chronograph. Why is it called a cosmograph? Because these indicators on the outside let you figure out how many units something is moving by how much distance it covered. So you watch something pass a distance, and then you watch it pass another distance, and you know that length, and then you can use this to figure out how fast it was going. So this one goes up to 400 units. Other watches that have a similar chronograph function might have like 250 or 500, depending on whether you're trying to time cars or airplanes. So let's wind this safely, screw this back in so that can't get water in there. These are called your pushers. So this thing here that looks like the seconds hand, because it's normally the seconds hand a normal watch, and this is actually your stopwatch counter. This is your seconds hands for just the stopwatch. Your normal watch seconds hands, that little tiny one there. So let's screw these. We start it, and now you're going to see it's moving, and we can stop it when we want. Start it again. Stop it. And then if we want to reset so if this goes around the whole way, it's going to tick your minute 1 tick. And if it goes around all the way again, it's going to tick your minute 1 tick. And then once this is ticked over 30 times, doesn't count to 60 minutes, just counts to 30, it's going to move your hour hand here. And this seconds hand is just always going. So I'm just going to stop it, and then I'm going to reset it, and you'll see them jump. And then that's it. Yay. Now, is your iPhone better than this? Yes. This is good to within like plus or minus 2 seconds per day. And that's on the 4130 movement, I think. This might even be sloppier. Like it might be like -3 +2 or something per day. So it keeps time like garbage compared to anything that's powered by battery. It's expensive. Like this might cost you like 15 or 20 grand used. What else? It's just expensive ass jewelry for dudes. Like that's it. It's like expensive dude jewelry. So if you want to waste some money, yes, it beats inflation, but not by much. Like you might make 3 or 4% a year on this. So it's not a good investment, right? Yeah, so that's it. I mixed it up for you guys. Now you saw some watch talk. So now I've got I've got 2 Rolexes. I've got a Submariner and I've got a Daytona. Okay, cool. There's guys in crypto that have $800,000 watches. I do not. And I'm sure at some point I'll feel bad about having this instead of more crypto. Richard, do I still lift? Yeah, I did chin-ups, deadlifts, and push-ups today. But I'm just still like mostly body weight stuff. So I'm not like lifting heavy yet, but I am lifting consistently. I mean, at my weight, so I'm doing negatives. Like I'm doing 8 reps of negatives. I have to jump up there because like at this weight, I'm a fat fuck right now. I can only do like maybe 1 chin up. Whereas if I was like, 10 pounds less, I could probably do 5. Why not fork over to this other coin? Because that other coin doesn't support Solidity, and all of our audits are on Solidity, and it's proven and awesome, and it's already protected billions of dollars. Whereas if I switch to some other new thing, new hot shiny thing, then we're going to get to beta test it and find out where the bugs are. No, thank you. So you have to use, look, it would be very easy for me to use one of these newfangled code things. And I've had devs suggest it, but devs will always do that. A developer will always convince you to use the new shiny thing and ignore the horror of being the guy that finds the bugs. So most climate modeling is done in Fortran, and Fortran is like 50 or 60-year-old language. Yet it still does most computational fluid dynamics and most climate modeling. Why? Because it actually is awesome. And just until recently, there were optimizations in the compiler that you couldn't even do in C, but you could do in Fortran. So like, do not fall for the bullshit of the new shiny thing. Use the thing that you know works. And then if you want to do the new shiny bullshit thing and take extra risk doing it, do that later while the awesome thing is already running. But don't fuck yourself by doing the new shiny thing early. Move fast and break things, breaks things. I don't want to be beta testing someone else's consensus network. I want to use the consensus network that's already defended billions of dollars successfully. It's already had billions of dollars of virtual bug bounty on it. And people have already found out what's all fucked up with it. So we've already seen all the ways you can fuck up with Solidity. And we learned from those. And we didn't have to be the guys that lost the money. Years ago, other people already lost the money figuring out reentrancy bugs and other types of bugs that we know not to do because someone else already lost their money doing it. I'm not losing Hexagon's money suggesting that they use some other buggy new bullshit. I mean, look, when we got into Ethereum, the transactions cost a penny. So on a new Ethereum, my guess is the transactions are going to cost a penny, and that's just fine. And you can't reduce it to zero because you need it for anti-spam protection. So the fee can never actually be zero, or some attacker will just fill up all your blocks with bullshit. So why don't I burn my candles? Because I don't clean up the wax. I don't like cleaning up the wax. And it fucks up the lighting as well. It makes this side too bright, and then I have to light another candle on this side to even it out. I'm so glad I randomly woke up at 4 a.m. to catch this epic moment live. Much respect and gratitude, Richard. You're the man. Thanks, bro. Thank you for changing our lives. Can't wait to see the Lex Friedman interview. Yeah, I mean, he's a nice guy. I can't wait to chat with him. We'll see how it goes. Michael's like, unfortunately, I'm front-end dev. Yeah, no luck for you at this point, mate. It's all back-end stuff. What will the fork be called? I don't know yet. If you look at the GitHub repos of most important projects in crypto, there's an even more extreme version of the Pareto principle play. Yeah, it's a power law distribution for sure. Like, it's that way, and it's not just like, it's everything. I agree. It's not just ETH stuff. It's Bitcoin too. Let's fucking go. Fire and flame emojis everywhere. Car hex stickers almost arrived in mail. Nice, dude. Thanks, House Lannister. Do the devs get paid in hex? Well, if you're a dev and you know Geth, or rather Go, drop me a message and maybe I'll tell you. t.me/Richard Hart. If you're not a dev and just asking me for random info, not telling you. Big squash emoji energy. Nice. Somebody says he will change his name to Hex Friedman. That'd be funny. How soon will the fork happen? One thing at a time, dude. So testnet first, then implement game theory, then see minimum viable, block explorer, something similar to Infura, stuff like that. So it iterates over time. Hard to say, man. Every estimate I've ever given on how long something takes in software has been wrong, and every estimate anyone else has ever given as to how long something takes in software has been wrong. So nobody knows how long software actually takes. It's really hard. That's what's up. But I can tell you that it was, in my opinion, it is a lot harder to write something from scratch of which there is no precedent, that's hex, than to do something that does have precedent, which is forking Ethereum, particularly when all the tools are open source. So I feel that forking Ethereum will be easier than making hex was, but We'll see. It really has to do a lot with how well documented and accurate other open source software projects are with the things that they've open sourced. So if they've been open sourced well, the README works right, and there's not weird edge cases and bugs and bullshit, it could knock months off the lead time. But if what we find is the stuff that we're forking sucks, it's going to add months because you have to fight through the suck, you know? So I'm not even qualified to tell you how long it's going to take. Not yet. But I'll give you a guess. I'm going to regret this. I mean, throwing a random ass number out there. You know, I haven't built the test net, like totally random number. I'm going to say 6 months, but man, I have no idea. You know, I'd be super happy to be launched in 6 months. That would be awesome. I'd be really happy with that. We'll see, man. You know, like we're going to start building the test net, and maybe I could tell you how the test net's going at some point. We'll see. Because it's more iterative, right? Like, because there's more components, you could like iterate those components. Whereas with Hex, there was a lot more like, yes, we're waiting on the contract, and we can't like test parts of the contract. Either it all works or it doesn't. But when you have something that's already modular and you're building different repos, you can give a more nuanced, detailed report, I think. We'll see. Patrick Moore says, I want to swap $100 worth of ETH to Hex, and the gas fees are $89, so fuck that. Good news for you, bro. Check out QuickSwap. The fees should be like nothing. So check it out. Hex, QuickSwap. Hit t.me/Hex Crypto. Ask the guys about it. You're in a good mood. Helps. I'm pretty tired, but I guess I'm in a good mood, yeah. Richard Hart telling us about the badassery of a Daytona while Hex pumps is just a thing of beauty. What a great night. Do you guys know that I know like a shitload of different things? You just have never asked me the right question to like access my big ass brain full of knowledge on just random different shit. It's funny. Yeah. Who knew that I knew all these tantric tricks to get extra pulses? Like, it's just, I know a bunch of random shit. Well, it's not random. It's like stuff that I find cool, I guess. Richard, you seem more chill than usual. Man, I'm working at 100% capacity. Like, I can't work harder. I'm doing the best I can. Winding sounds on stream are fire. Nice. I actually said fuego, which is like hot for, it's the word for fire in Spanish. Richard Hart always does his research. True. This is so soothing. I'm like fucking up my language. I'm so tired. This is so soothing. I'm about to fall asleep. Well, don't, man. Wake up, you son of a bitch. All right. Remember when mofos felt like they were rocking the Daytonas when Michael Kors made a knockoff? I didn't even know Michael Kors made watches. Cool. Is this a pivot to gold and silver? No. Fuck those things. Richard, where would you like to see the first Hex headquarters built? I mean, Sky Citadel would be all right, like floating in the clouds and shit. I guess that would be cool aesthetically. But it seems like people are kind of building out Hexarico. So, I mean, there's pretty strong Hexican presence in Puerto Rico. Tax advantages and whatnot. Hex softball. In my free time, I'm continuing to work to make us the best ever. Nice. Holy shit, dude, this watch shit is brutal. I don't even know what that means. I'm assuming it's a compliment. Nice chat these days. Roll Hex of Heart. Nice. You're going to have an NFT for the Mega Pump? Lol. If I wanted to do NFTs, I could. Don't want to. Like, there's just more important shit to build. Like, people are buying JPEGs for $1 million. Yeah, I can make JPEGs, but I don't want to. You gonna get vaccinated? I'm gonna try and not. I'm gonna try, but we'll see how it goes. If everyone can get to herd immunity, then I don't need to, yay. But if everyone can't, we'll see. Rolex still a better investment than US dollars? Yeah, maybe, but why are you comparing it to like that easy shit? Just compare it to crypto and you'll see that everything sucks compared to crypto. So people have 800K watches have small PP energy. I think the problem with most like 800K watches, like if you buy a Richard Mille 800K watch and then you find out that you can really only sell it for like 600, so you really just took like a beating. I think Richard Milles are way too busy. I like that they're big. That's cool. But when you actually look at the dial, you can't tell what the fuck is going on. It's just like when you totally bust down like this Rolex or any other one with all diamonds on the face. You can't fucking see what's going on. You just see bling. You can't tell what time it is. Well, if I'm just going to wear bling and I can't tell what time it is, I'll make a sick-ass hex bracelet that looks way fucking cooler if I'm not going to be able to tell the time anyway. Just make a sick hex bracelet or any other bracelet. I've got a retarded blue diamond, yellow diamond, white diamond, rose gold, yellow gold, white gold, chunk, fucking sick bracelet I could wear. Like out blings the living fuck out of this, you know, but you can't tell what time it is on it, you know. And I mean, shit, I can't tell what time it is on this because I said it wrong for the stream anyway. So, like, you know, lol. Can you discuss 0-day issues for the internet and its implications on cryptocurrency? It's been minimal. I haven't seen any 0 days murdering people in crypto. What murders people in crypto is like some swap hacks, giving away their fucking private keys to fake websites and giving away their seed words to fake websites. That murders people in crypto. But in general, 0 days haven't affected people in crypto much. I learned Fortran back in 6th grade. Wish I remembered more of it. There's a huge lack of Fortran programmers today. True. That is true. It's his mic that makes it soothing. What about this sexy ass voice though, bro? What about that? I have better mics than this, by the way. Like I have an NT2A Rode mic that is better than the Shure SM7B that I'm on here. It's like, you know, it's more ASMR like. I mean, this already has like a thick foam pop filter on it that's being made up for by a treble boost in the back here. Do you ever watch the YouTube channel Producer Michael? Yeah, I've seen his videos. It's okay. Funny English dude, Nico something. Irish dude. Oh, he's fucking hilarious. If you're just going to waste your time watching watch videos, his shit is hilarious. Nico something. Can't remember his last name. Fucking funny watch videos. He's hilarious. Should do a live stream with his ass. Hey, you know what? Get me, you fuckers watching. You. All of you, particularly the Hexkins. Go message Nico, the watch guy, the Irish watch guy. I want to do a video with him. And I'll show him my watch collection, which consists of like 3 watches. 2 Rollies and 1 yet to be named, which is sick as fuck. My 3rd watch is sick as fuck. So he'll like it. Nico, Irish watch dude. Get him on a live stream with me. It'll be fucking great. Would it be safe to say that it's worth the ridiculous gas fees to get in early? And I lost the message. Sorry, bro. It only lets me scroll back so far. Thanks, Restream. Nothing I can do about it. 1,200 viewers across all the fucking stream platforms. That's pretty cool. Businessman 2K says, I'm enjoying the sci-fi book. Thanks, Richard. Yeah, I wrote some self-help books. I suggest you download them and read them. Currently, the versions that you could download, you don't have to pay for. Lucky you. t.me/scivive, SCIVE. SCIVIVE. Richard, thank you for all the time you've taken to stream. I've found your talks extremely helpful in both learning the crypto world and further growing my economic knowledge and reasoning. Thanks. Thank you, Rodney Smith. Appreciate the kind words. Why don't you do a virtual interview with Lex? He just won't do it. Believe me, I asked more than once. There's 2 guys that just want to do it in person. There's a crypto guy that's only going to do it in person. Can't remember his name. Maybe it's all, I can't remember who it is. Might be Altcoin Daily. And then there's another dude, Lex, that just does them in person. I wouldn't mind. I'll pay your flight or whatever, but he counter offered me to do the same. So it's like, all right, I guess he wants me to go there. You literally give us the right measurements of life for us to measure ourselves, and you still get the hate. Respect. Knowledge is not power, but the application of knowledge is. Damn right, Michael. Or Miguel. I can't, your name passed by. Agree. Richard, when do you think mainstream crypto will admit their crushing defeat about their opinions of HEX? Never. It's fine. They can buy higher, you know? Like where did Michael Saylor buy? He said it was going to crash just like online gaming in 2013. Back when it was, you know, $1,300, and now he bought it at 50K instead, or maybe 10 or 20 or whatever. So he bought it 10x higher. Talk shit, bought it 10x higher. Okay, everyone else can buy HEX 10x higher, fine, whatever. Would there be potential airdrops associated with fork? I don't know yet, man. I'm not sure. I can tell you airdrops are really common, but if you already have system state, you don't have to really have an airdrop. It could already just be pre-rolled in. A lot of options. Yes, Solidity works on a lot of different shit. I know that, and I don't care. I'm not beta testing someone else's bullshit. I'm using what I know is proven to work. What's your end goal with crypto? Take over the global store of value, all of it. Just be the global store of value. Replace gold as store of value. Replace stocks as a store of value. Replace houses as a store of value. Houses can go back to being what they cost instead of acting like virtual savings account that no kid can ever have a house now, because it's a gambling racket. So houses are gambling now, so no kid can ever own a house. Sucks. Why doesn't CoinGecko show HEX market cap? Because they're cocksuckers. Sorry, guys. They're assholes. They could do the right thing. They could show the right market cap. They choose not to. Instead, they show market caps for scams and make money advertising on pages that promote scams. Fuck those guys. Like, they're scumbags. They make money on scams while gatekeeping and fucking over people that could be saved from getting scammed by being in HEX, 100% uptime, no hacks, awesome, while everything else around it is failing. They are part of the problem. They make money on scams. They sell ads to scams, and they get views from poor plebs that are buying scams and going to check on the performance of their scam to see whether they've been rug pulled or not. It's fucking disgusting. Those people are the problem. They're gatekeeping middlemen that crypto was designed to replace. Cryptocurrency was designed to replace middlemen. Coin ranking sites are fucking middlemen. Exchanges are fucking middlemen. And the less interaction you have with either of them, the more safety and security you'll have in your life. Richard, do you plan to disallow NFTs on your ETH fork? No. Does that sound decentralized to you? That doesn't sound decentralized to me. Can I pick your brand in the best countries for citizenship for tax purposes? You can talk about shit like that in a chat room called t.me/cryptogov. That's where I send people that like to talk about that shit. Governments and that. Is car stereo your favorite way to listen to music? Your favorite speakers now? Genelec. Genelec's the goddamn best. I got Genelec subwoofer in the bathroom. So when I'm getting a shower, I'm enjoying some drum and bass and letting that bass rock me. I love it. And I also, so my recliner that I use when I'm not sitting on the throne here, I go sit in a recliner. The recliner's feet are sitting on top of a Genelec sub. I make sure the pressure's tight so that I get that full body vibe. It's awesome. Love my bass. Love my drum and bass. Love my Genelec 8351s. Love my Genelec subs. You know, I'm just sitting on one sub, not plural. But I got a bunch. I got them all over the place. Genelec's fucking fabulous. Richard's like that one teacher that if you ask the right question, class would be the bomb and not have to do much. All right. Thanks, Dylan. I mean, you've described a substitute teacher, but all right. Which tantric trick for more pulses? You're going to have to find that video, dude. Go ask in Hex Crypto. t.me/Hex Crypto. They'll take you to the how to have better orgasms Richard Hart tutorial. Do you think the 51% attack miners will be more successful in sabotaging Ethereum's POS? What? Do you think the 51% attack miners will be successful on sabotaging Ethereum's POS? No, I don't. I don't really care. It's like, okay, they try and do EIP 1559 to reduce miner payouts and increase price performance by doing token burns on the London hard fork, which happens after the Berlin hard fork. So it'd be maybe 4 months from now or 5 months from now. The Ethereum miners threatened to do a 51% attack. Fucking go ahead and do it. Fine. So now I have twice the coins on 2 networks. Cool. How's that worked out? Works out great every time. Like, you just have twice as many coins, and now you have twice as much money. Some of that money is going to continue to be high value, and some of that money is going to go to fucking far lower, depending on which the market decides is the real one. But in the end, it's like when people get divorced. Both parties end up happier. A fork is the same thing as a divorce. Both parties end up happier. So the guys that wanted it one way, they get it the way they want. The guys that want it the other way, they get the way that they want. Now you got twice as many ticker symbols, more reflexivity. It's just kind of better for everybody. So forks are all right. Like, non-contentious forks that don't result in a reduction of security. And so a proof of stake versus, well, I mean, in this case, it might, anyway, I don't think they're going to do it. If they do it, I get twice as many coins. Cool. Okay, whatever. Like, you know, you're not going to prevent forks from happening. You are going to have forks, period. They're going to happen. So, and in the history of forks, we've seen it works out fine. Ethereum forked from Ethereum Classic. People that had Ethereum before the fork have both Ethereum Classic and Ethereum. Ethereum did just fine. Even Ethereum Classic went up. So Ethereum went up a lot more, but they both went up. So what's the big fucking deal? Like, it's okay. Hexlover 2K20 says, we're about to make a local high. Is that some 420 weed people language? Is that what that is? A local high? I believe he's talking about technical analysis. Hexaco sounds awesome. It does. What do I think of big blocks? I think that they're okay unless they reduce censorship resistance to a degree that is too steep. So if big blocks make it so that you're no longer censorship resistant, that is not okay. My language just keeps fucking up because I'm so tired. But big blocks are fine if you still are censorship resistant. You're just more performant and lower feed. Like, great, you know? So it's just like there's a tripartite situation. Do you want good, fast, or cheap? Pick 2. Can't have 3. You get to pick 2. Okay. Do you want high throughput, censorship resistant, and God, what is the third one? I knew earlier today. High throughput, censorship resistant, and I'm just going to say cheap. There's probably a different one. There's some other tripartite corundum that basically you can get 2 of 3, right? So you can have cheap, but not censorship resistant. You can have fast, but not, oh, so it's throughput. Throughput, censorship resistant. Oh, fuck it. You get the idea, man. You can't have everything, right? So in my opinion, I am totally cool and totally fine with having more performance with, instead of 10,000 nodes, 100 nodes. And then if someone attacks, you just fork back to the 10,000 nodes. Like, hey, look, they're attacking. Back to the fucking 10,000 proof of work thing we go. But until you get that kind of attack, you don't preemptively fuck yourself by polluting the environment and dumping the living shit out of the price in order to pollute the environment. It's stupid. Like, there was a time when only proof of work worked. Cool. That time has passed. Other shit works now. Period. Like, that's it. If proof of stake didn't work, and if delegated proof of stake didn't work, and if merge mining didn't work, we would know now. Dogecoin's merge mined. Where's the hack? Is it less secure? Yes. Could people 51% attack it? Yes. Do I think people should be putting money into it? No. But ain't no one getting hacked still. Where's the fucking hack? You got to measure reality, right? There's no perfect security. It's an escalating war of security versus attacker expenditure. Like, So EOS sued by the SEC for being a security, found guilty of being a security, paid a $24 million fine on a $4.2 billion raise, which is like 0.24% or some shit, some less than 1%, and got a pass to continue doing business, a waiver to continue doing business. Why? Because this is the best interest of the investors. Had the SEC done something different and murdered the EOS price, how would that have helped the people they were claiming to try and protect? Right? So how has their, like they only have like 21 validators or something. Has there been any EOS hacks? No. Price performance been shit, but it's not because they got hacked. They haven't been hacked. Okay. Has ADA been hacked? No. Has Dogecoin been hacked? No. Has ETH Classic been hacked? Yes. So we learned from that, don't be a minority proof of work chain. I mean, I could list you. Has XLM been hacked? Yes. Inflation bug. Has Monero? No, because they caught it, but they could have had an inflation bug, and other Bitcoin forks did have inflation bugs. Did Bitcoin have an inflation bug? Yes. Did Ethereum? No. Did Ravencoin? Yes. Did there's been a lot of inflation bugs. I keep a list of them. I actually need to add that list to the site. It's good. So like you have to understand your threat model. Like blockchains, the majority of hacks in blockchains are inflation bugs. They are not hash rate related. They're not. Hash rate does not protect you against inflation bugs, and it's the majority of bugs. So you have to understand where your attacks and your threats are coming from. When are you going to move to Cardano? Listen, homeboy, I already told everybody I'd love to see wrapped hex shares on other networks. So we looked at Cardano. They do not have smart contracts. Listen to the words I'm telling you. Cardano does not have smart contracts. You cannot issue any fucking smart contracts on fucking Cardano. Are you listening? There's no smart contracts on Cardano. There's none. They might have some test net somewhere, maybe, where they might be maybe testing them and figuring out where the fucking bugs are. And I ain't beta testing on nobody's shit. So stop telling me about platforms that don't have any fucking smart contracts on them. Cardano does not have any fucking smart contracts. Stop telling me about it. Stupid. Maybe one day it will. Lots of other shit does have smart contracts now, worth billions of dollars now. So you could do wrapped shares for hacks on those fucking things now. You plebs that buy fucking bags of shit that don't know anything about the techs, you kind of piss me off a little bit, man. Because you'll just say anything to pump your fucking bag. Shit that doesn't make any sense. Hate it. Stop wasting my fucking chat's fucking time talking about shit that you cannot fucking do. Hate it. Oh my God. Let me give you another one. Have you looked at Hedera hash graphs? Consensus algorithm? Mathematically beautiful. Is it? No, it's not. You want to hear about how shit Hedera hash graph is? Go to ERC Wall, Eric Wall, on Twitter, and he'll fucking show you exactly how dog shit their fake throughput number is. Yeah, it's high throughput with no finality. It's like zero conf, slightly different from zero confirmation. Like if you want actual finality and you want actual like blockchain things like censorship resistance, well then their fucking zillion billion fucking throughput doesn't matter. And how many blockchains are empty? All of them. All of the blockchains are empty. There's only 2 full fucking blockchains in the whole planet, Bitcoin and Ethereum, and everything else is fucking empty. So why do I need another empty fucking blockchain to go beta test and lose fucking users' money on that has no one else to play with on the fucking thing? It's like being the only guy with a fucking fax machine. How is that useful? Fuck Hedera Hashgraph. I will care about them when they have fucking users and a platform that is secure. Okay? If one day they're useful enough to launch a fucking wrapped hex on, I would support seeing someone launch a wrapped hex on it and maybe being the only thing there that has any fucking adoption. The only application that has any adoption on that platform. Maybe then. But you guys buy fucking bags of bullshit. You don't know anything about tech whatsoever. And then I have the misfortune of going and checking it out and wasting my fucking time because you don't know anything about the fucking tech. Eric Wall knows about the tech. Eric Wall told you about ZK rollups. Eric Wall told you about optimistic rollups. That's where I learned about him from. I was in fucking Malta talking face to face with him. And he's like, hey man, you know, this scaling shit, it's actually solved. I'm like, scaling is actually solved? Really? Well, that's fucking interesting. He's like, yeah, check it out. You can do optimistic rollups with fraud proofs. You can do ZK rollups. They're in production now. They're not fantasy. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking great. Sweet. Now, here's the problem. Is scaling solved? Kind of. So you can onboard and trade on Matic, quick swap with HEX now, but that network isn't interoperable with all the other networks. So if you have a smart contract there, it doesn't instantly interop with everything else. So like if you have an Ethereum contract, it can call and work with other contracts. But if it's on a whole nother network like Matic, then you've got to write all these bridges and the code can't directly talk to each other and you're having to use atomic cross swaps. It's harder, it's clunkier. So like, let's say you deposit your money into zksync.io, of which HEX was the first airdrop ever done. 250,000 users received HEX through zksync.io, the first layer 2 to have any adoption on Ethereum. HEX led the fucking way. How much adoption does zksync have? Fuck all. Why? Because you can't do automated market maker Uniswap trades on it. Okay, well, why not? Because you have to program the fucker from scratch. But with optimistic rollups, you don't. So the Optimism Labs, you can take a fucking contract that's already in Solidity, that's already on mainnet Ethereum, move it to an L2, and at least you don't have to write new code. At least it's the same code. But now what's the problem? You don't have interoperability between L2s. So now your money that's there, it's got to just live there, and you've got to do some bridging or other shit to get it back into the mainnet, and it's extremely expensive. So hey, you want to set up you want to trade your Ethereum and get it onto zksync? I think it costs you like $100 to make a wallet now or some shit. Oh, you want to get on the L2? You want to get on the zksync L2? Well, most people don't want to trade HEX with other people. Most people want to trade HEX with Uniswap or trade HEX with staking. They don't actually want to send it to other people. They want to lock it up and store value and make gains. They don't give a shit about just paying for coffee with it. It's $16 a fucking send. They didn't care back when it was a penny either. This is not what cryptocurrencies are used for the most part. They're not used for paying for coffees. So having the reason that L2, I don't think, is the right way forward for HEX is because you still got to pay $100 to get into the fucking L2. So, okay, someone wants to buy some HEX. I tell a guy about QuickSwap. Yeah, it's great, but you got to get into QuickSwap. How are you going to get in? You're going to send ETH? You're going to have to pay that big ass on-ramp fee. It sucks. Now, for people that are on-ramping directly into the L2 and aren't already in the L1, they can save a lot of money. But for people that are in the L1 already, you're going to have to pay $100 to get into the fucking L2, no matter what L2 it is, because it has to do an on-chain transaction. It sucks. So if you want to save people that are doing end stakes, if you want to save people that are using Uniswap, if you want to save this, oh, we're just going to fucking raise S-load costs all the time. Lol, good one. Don't make your network better. Just make it more expensive. Cool. Good job, guys. Fuck that. L1's the way to go. L1 is definitely the way to go. And you have to understand, in the case of Matic, what is it? It's just it is an L1. It just checkpoints back. It's just another fork of Ethereum, dude. Like, there's a lot of them. Does the subwoofer work as a vibrator? No, but I have a Sibian, and the Sibian does. It sounds like you're drilling the floors. It sounds like you're doing like fucking construction work when you run the Sibian. Is Bitcoin dying again? How many times we have heard it? Why don't they come out when it is going up? People are stupid. Yeah, true. Yeah, I agree. If it bleeds, it leads. People love their bad news and shit. Oh, just missed a lot of questions. Sorry, guys. Do you think HEX has a potential to become a country's main valuta? That's Spanish too, for value. Depends on the country. It depends on the country. Small country, I think it could happen. Larger country, you really need the throughput. But if you're willing to encapsulate it and wrap it and just do your throughput on other stuff, well then sure. Yeah, you could do it. Richard, can you do a house tour? I could, but I like OPSEC, so fuck you. Like, no. I'll tour your house. How's that? I don't know. You have to have a pretty sick house. OPSEC, short for operational security, by the way. I am the 4th generation of my family that is houseless. We have not been able to own a home outright in that many generations. I'm hoping to get a HEX home someday for my family. That's the dream. I hope you make your dreams come true there in pro. I really hope that works out for you, man. I get a lot of messages all the time about people whose lives were saved by HEX. And sometimes emotionally, sometimes financially. Sometimes they're real breathing life, and sometimes they're financial life. And I get a lot of those messages all the time. And I appreciate it every time I do. And if you guys don't mind making a video that we could put on hex.com/testimonials, you know, it would help other people have that same experience, perhaps, of getting into something that could save them. Will the fees be paid in Hex? I don't know yet. Not sure. Your favorite influencer is watching and they won't tell you about Hex lol. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. What's with dude's hair? Just hair. What is it? Is it okay? It's just hair. I don't know. There's no product in it. There's nothing in it. I get a shower. I put the Head and Shoulders in there. That's it. Does he answer Twitch questions? Yes, but they're far fewer. So, yep. I'm sure he bought the best chair at the time. I do have the best chair. My recliner is like a zero gravity massage chair, but I never use the massage thing. This is a giant Swarovski crystal velvet throne. Can't beat it. Yeah, I have some cool stuff. Can you comment when the Gox coins might be distributed or sold? Will it be a surprise or we have some time to prepare? I don't know. I mean, look, it's a public trustee that is going to be distributing them. So there has to be some type of agreement. I assume that agreement also has to be public. So there'll be people that have inside knowledge, but at some point it has to be public, I believe, because it is a public liquidation bankruptcy of a company in Japan. So every time there's a Richard live, I buy more Hex. All right, Nick, Florida. Thanks for letting us know. Low proof of work, get bullied. Yep. Would you want to do a live stream with a watch YouTuber, Urban Gentry with 500K followers? Sure. Yep. Look, man, if you got followers, I'll do a stream with you. Pretty much. ETH is an inflation bug, lol. Man, I bet you have a bag of Bitcoin. And I bet you're pissed that Ethereum has outperformed your shitcoin, your orange shitcoin, by 2-to-1 over the last 2 fucking years. I bet you're mad about that shit, huh? And really, it spiked up to 3-to-1. And it just dipped back down to 2-to-1 now. You're pretty pissed off about that, huh? And all those NFT ads that you see on the front page of the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times and shit, they ain't buying no Bitcoin because of them NFTs, are they? Because there ain't no NFTs on Bitcoin. Because you can't fucking do anything with Bitcoin, can you? Except press the send button. Oh, by the way, you going to change the world with your Bitcoin? Yeah, you can do that? Well, that's funny because Grayscale owns 3%. Michael Saylor owns almost 1%. Tim Draper owns almost 1%. Chamath Palihapitiya owns about 1%. Peter Thiel's probably got 1%. Block One that launched EOS, I think they got 1%. The Chinese government's got 1%. Man, that's a lot of percents. The fucking Winklevi have got like 1% or 2. How much percent do you have? You ain't even saving the world. You just pumping rich guys' bags. So you always gonna be those rich guys' bitch, huh? I bet I own more Bitcoin than you too, punk. So you rooting for that orange coin with half the gains? You keep doing that, buddy. You keep doing it, punk. Keep pumping my bags. Have fun. Where are we at? Yeah, when I get really tired, like I start losing my voice. It kind of sucks. Yeah, if you guys know good devs that know Go language, like send them my way. T.me/Richard Hart, dev@hex.com, richard@hex.com. Hit it. If they're devs, preferably hit me at dev. Richard Hart, is Tron a good smart contract? No, not really. But it's like you're just trading off throughput for security. So if you want more throughput, it's cheaper but less secure. You can get it there. Chill out, Matt. No, I won't. People like to watch this shit. You don't know what interesting looks like. I do, which is why I have a lot of viewers, and you don't. So I'll keep doing me. Thanks. Franklin, you are a mod, I believe. Please ask him if we should switch to YouTube. Bitch, I'm reading your shit, man. It's just 10 minutes behind. Chill. The 10 of you fucking Twitch viewers need to relax. Let me put it this way. I got 1,300 viewers on YouTube. I got 30 viewers on Twitch. That's like a 400x difference? No, 40x difference. Go get more of you guys. Like, I read your fucking chats, man. They stand out. They have a little purple icon next to them. I just give long ass answers to short questions, so I'm always going to be losing ground to you guys. Now look, I'm not trying to piss off every other coin. I want people that own other coins to buy Hex, okay? But when I get tired and I keep seeing these fucking shills, I got to bring the hammer on them, you know? Let me read you a hater comment from Cheval Sour. Sounds like a Frenchman. Hey, bro, your foul mouth is off-pudding and showing only immaturity. I don't care how much you know. You will only put people off with that lingo. Laters. First off, bitch, I bet you're still watching. So don't even talk. Second, Donald Trump was president. How did he get there? His first job in politics was president. How did he get there? How is everyone else getting popular? Joe Rogan smoking weed on television with Elon Musk. Does that sound like some bitch mode behavior to you? Nah, that sounds like don't give a fuck behavior. Okay? So I'm going to do me, and I'm going to keep being fun and enjoyable and live my life. And you keep being a crybaby little bitch, improving my ranking with the algorithm with YouTube. Keep being mad. Keep chatting. Don't make me so mad. I don't like the way he acts. He richer and has more bigger dick than me. Not fair. Keyboard warrior ass little bitch. Anyway, is Zero Hex a competitor of Uniswap? No, because they don't have an automated market maker. They only have limit orders and an API that shits orders into other automated market makers, basically. So no, they're not a competitor. They work together, actually. Been with you since day 20. I'm currently reallocating my cryptos and moving 50% of my profits into Hex. Thank you, iCatmandu. Welcome to the party, pal. This shit is still going and blocked. See ya. Shill Team 6. I like the way that sounds. As a shitbag holding pleb, I think this content is great. And if you lambasted my bag, I'm selling that shit quick. Thanks, CryptoFire Pro. Yeah. I mean, look, when things earn respect, I give them respect. I used to shit talk Ethereum constantly because it used to suck constantly. And then it stopped sucking and turned great. And now it's back to sucking a little again. So I just update my worldview, okay? Ethereum was buggy as fuck. Then they ironed out the bugs and launched a bunch of new features. And now the shit costs too much. So I talked to shit. I talked it up. And now I'm talking some shit again. I do what reality deserves. I update my worldview with new evidence. I'm not a fucking broken record that just says the same shit all the time, hoping that reality fucking matches it. I actually like integrate new data into my models of the world, and then tell you what data I'm integrating and give you the ability to make the same decisions that I'm making. I give you my sources of data. I didn't just shit talk like Hedera. I shit talked Hedera and said why I'm shit talking it and gave you the reference to the same shit that I read. And then you can go read it, you know? So like high throughput with low security guarantees is dumb. That's not what blockchains are used for. We need censorship resistance, right? Like, can you speak about decentralization in Hex? I did that already, but you're gonna have to wind back. Hex is decentralized as fuck. I got followers, want to do a stream with me. DM me, t.me/Richard Hart. Richard's epic, thanks. Do I know anything about whiskey? I know I hate the way it tastes, and I prefer cognac. Single malt, don't like it. Blends, don't like it. I just don't like any whiskey, basically. And I had some Macallan, like 40-year-old shit or whatever. It cost a lot of money. Didn't like it. It might have been like $500 a shot, basically. I didn't like it. What happened to Richard? I thought you're a Bitcoin maximalist. You might want to wake up. You might want to wake up. You might want to start watching the streams because you just missed out on a whole world of life-changing money, you idiot. Where have you been? We already went from 3K to 60K in Bitcoin. We already did, where the fuck have you been? What are you doing with your life? You need to subscribe. Click subscribe. youtube.com/Richard Hart. Subscribe, click the bell, all. You need help, dude. Thought BTC got you where you are now. Hey, pro tip. I retired in 2003. Bitcoin was launched in 2009. I was a self-made millionaire in 2003. Bitcoin launched 6 years later. You thought Bitcoin made me? Nah. Nope. The moderator on the stream just silenced me. I'm James Dunthorne. You don't like to hear me talk about Hedera Hashgraph, do you? First off, dumbass, I just read your comment and shouted you out. Do I seem scared? Do I seem bothered? Fuck your ghost chain with no adoption kid and the fake throughput. And fuck you for acting hard on my stream. Fuck both you guys. Now, if ever you have users and if ever I want to on-ramp them to Hex, maybe we'll see some wrapped shares on your bullshit. But until then, fuck you. How's that? Don't need another empty blockchain. Got a million different empty blockchain options. Don't care what flavor of empty you are. You want to transact on Dogecoin, Bcash, Bitcoin scam version, whatever the fuck you want to transact on. All them shits are empty. You can go to a website that shows you how much each chain is spending in fees. I don't know if it's called like fee market cap or I can't remember what the website's called. Google around, find it. The only two chains where anyone is paying any fees is Ethereum and Bitcoin, and everything else is fucking empty. So I don't really care about the empty chains. I don't need them. I'm going to launch my own better shit. I don't need your fucking shit. I'm not pumping your bags. Fuck you guys. You guys pump your own bags. I'm not pumping your bags for you. ETH already got the living shit pumped out of it by me. Now, okay, it's enough of that shit. Let's go do the next thing. All the animal rights activists are livid, Richard, with all the chat weasels you're slaughtering. Nice. Thank you, Karen. Appreciate that. Just Googled Sibian, learning something every day. Yeah, Sibians are pretty cool. It's like a $1,300 vibrator for chicks. Looks like a doghouse. It's crazy. What is my Twitch? Well, my Twitch, I'm not really sure. I'm streaming on it. I guess it's Richard Hart Win. Cool. 30 whole viewers. Wow. BTC is a rich man's game. Last 2 years, we're fighting for the last cheap sats. Now billions fighting for BTC. Sure. Yeah. But it's getting outperformed 2-to-1 by Ethereum. And Hex has been up 142x versus Bitcoin. So now it's maybe only up like 40 or 20x or some shit. I'm not sure. Richard, you're the smartest person I know and the most entertaining. Thank you for all you do in creating your sci-vibe and how to fix the world books. Balliot Brian. Amazing. Balliot Brand. Amazing that you knew about the second book called Fix the World. Most people don't know about that one. The Red Hot Chili Peppers. Nice one. Crypto 303. Can we talk about smart contract and Bitcoin? Yes, we can. There aren't any. Fuck off. You're welcome. My pleasure. Slowest, most latency ridden, most expensive network you could ever possibly try and build on top of. And they also try and shake you free and kill you by changing the opcode size like they did to kill off Counterparty, which was the first or second platform to try and build layer 2 on top of Bitcoin and got murdered and is now dead. So good job, Bitcoin. You killed off Counterparty. And then, by the way, Vitalik was going to launch Ethereum on Bitcoin. Bitcoin guys are like, fuck off. So he went and did his own thing instead. Worked out just fine. Richard, what was the name of the charity that you asked before? Sens.org, SENS.org. They put money into medical research that might save your fucking life. That's about it. One of the Twitch users says, why you have to be mad? It's only game. I finish meme for you, bro. In Soviet Richard, meme finishes you. Am I catching up here? Okay, I'm usually 10 or 11 minutes behind. Now I'm only 7 minutes behind, so I'm fucking catching up with you guys. What's the best DEX? Uniswap. If you want a front end for it, you can use HexDex. No, ETHEX.com. But you know, you could also access DEX aggregators like matcha.xyz and 1inch.eth.link. At the Hex conference, Richard needs a stand-up comedy special. Yeah, maybe. Well, look, I can be funny. I can be mean. I can be nice. Like every human should have a bunch of different ways of being, right? So why not be all those ways? It's funny when he goes to a YouTube keyboard tappers. Yeah, it is fun. Like, whatever. Ethereum didn't ban me. Well, you know, they're not supposed to do that shit. They're not supposed to. But it ain't exactly been warm welcome. So it's fine. You know, the more people that treat Hex poorly, the more opportunity it is. It's like, it feels like getting to be able to buy Bitcoin at $1. People treated Bitcoin like shit. They made it $1. Now what does it cost? A lot fucking more, right? A lot fucking more. Somebody mentions a Clubhouse room that I should join. It's like, okay, well, I'm on Clubhouse. Send me the link. But in general, fuck Clubhouse. Hey guys, I've invented a platform that gives you very limited reach, and you don't have a room you can promote, so you have to suck some other room maker's dick and hope that he doesn't just mute your ass, or hope that he ever gives you voice opportunity. I'm not doing that shit. I'm the founder of a multi-billion-dollar currency. I'm not sucking some other mod's dick to be like, hey, can I please add value to your chat room, please? No. Like, if I don't get my own chat room, I'm not bringing my content to their platform. They can fuck off. When I have my own chat room, I'll consider adding it to my Restream IO rotation. I'm not going to one platform to give them all my fucking value to watch my shit get like shilled and banned. I'm banned on Facebook. I'm fucking Instagram disappeared. Somebody fucking hacked that shit and deleted it or whatever, mass reported it. I don't know what the fuck they did. I ain't going to one platform and giving them my content for free that they make money on to pump their fucking bags and then be treated like shit. I'm not doing it. So when Clubhouse wants to give me a fucking chat room of my own that I control, I'll consider allowing them to hear me. Otherwise they can fuck off.